Man, dude. This shit is so annoying. Oh, fuck. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Hopefully everybody comes back. It's just like... I don't fucking understand. Like, I don't... Maybe I just don't know shit about technical stuff, but, like, I'm so fucking sick of Comcast, like, having a monopoly on internet speed and internet shit, like, because it can just, like, get knocked off at any fucking moment. I'm sure it was something on my end, but it's just like that shit happens all the fucking time. When, you know, like, you've been here probably before, whenever, you know, a stream is like just suddenly shits the bed, and then I look down and I'm like, what's going on? And then it tells me that, like, my internet's cut out. And I'm like, why? I just reset the fucking router. And, like, so, and there's, you know, no fucking explanation at all. Like, I'll never find out what's going on. So, okay, live again. Jesus Christmas. It's gonna be Christmas soon. Does everyone have their Christmas decorations up in September? Alright. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about my complaining and shit. It's just so, like, technical issues are so annoying because, like, you just, like, have no clue, like, what happened. Like, you're like, oh, it could be, like, a fucking DDoS or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Or some random crap like that. Or, like, or it could just be the fact that Comcast is, like, unreliable. Or it could be your modem, you know, your 2-in-1 router modem. I don't know if anybody knows about streaming or not, if, like, using a 2-in-1 router modem is a bad thing, because my roommate always says it is, but, like, I haven't looked into it too much. Mine's the only one that you've been in that has multiple problems. It doesn't happen often. It's just, sorry, I'm, like, yelling in the microphone. It doesn't happen often. But hello, step bros and sisters. Your Halloween decorations went up in August. Nice. Ready to rock and roll. Also, I feel bad. I missed, I saw a donation from Yuritsa 893. I don't know if you're still here or not, but thank you for the dono. The big $20 donation. I really do appreciate it. Avery practicing some insurgery. Nice. Yeah, it's a hard game, honestly. And let me know how your frames are on there, because I struggled with frames when I first was playing it, and I think it's recently been updated. I swear this doesn't happen often. Comcast is shitty, Cox much better. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Like, I hope I gotta just bite the bullet and get my own spiel, because I would love to get, like, business quality fucking internet. But then at the same time, like, one time they were visiting to check our internet, and they looked at the wire that he used, and he's like, yeah, you see here, it's getting a red, you know, and normally it gets a green, and yeah, it's getting the red here, you know. And I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck would we ever know we were getting the red? You know, and it's like, what is that? You have to, like, know somebody around your area. Frames are doing alright? Alright, yeah, nice. It doesn't happen often. It actually doesn't. Like, like, when it happens, like, I don't know why, because it's so unpredictable. Because I'll reset the router and think, like, oh, I'm good to go. Then all of a sudden, like, I don't know if Comcast says, like, why are they resetting the router? Or, like, somebody in the house is downloading fucking, you know, Rule 34 goofy porn or some shit like that. And Malls, thank you so much for the 10. It's Joel, love you, have a love pizza, and $10. Thank you. Let's all make a love pizza, guys. Alright. We are, I'm in Pennsylvania. We are going to, how's the cat? He's good. He's at my, oh no, he's not. Where is he? I actually have no fucking clue where he got to. Maybe he snuck out when the door was open. Briefly, but he wasn't here. They're downloading Johnny Test hentai. Most likely. That's all I ever see on his desktop. But, alright, guys. Anyways, we already bullshitted for a while, but I appreciate you guys being here. This song's pretty lit. Oh, yeah. 1 gigabyte of prawn. But I appreciate you guys sticking around, getting that figured out. The most annoying part, though, was, and this was on YouTube's end, is that if your internet shits out, you guys probably noticed that it still said that I was live. Like, I have to go into, like, the YouTube studio, then click on, like, the live streams from a list. It's just, like, a really convoluted mess. Like, and then I have to go in and click end stream manually, and I'm like, I'm fairly certain on Twitch, like, it would just, like, if you cut out, your internet cut out, like, the stream would end, and then you just fucking pick up and where you left off or something. But I do not know. I really hope that, I don't know. Google's such a strange company because they've got their money, like, in every fucking, you know, crevice of all time. So it's like, for them to devote any sort of, like, increasing, I say a lot, I'm sorry about that. Increasing their live stream capabilities, I have no clue if that'll ever happen or not be a complete fucking mess. Yes, follow at Let's Read Creepy on Twitter, follow at letsread.official on Instagram. Mainly Twitter, because Twitter's, like, if you get notifications on Twitter, you're gonna get them immediately, because I think they're the only ones that, like, send them out, you know, and you can know where to check if something stupid happens like this, and I have to update you guys or whatever. But, yeah, and follow my meme page, at Horny Computer. It's a good time. Anyways, enough of my bullshit. I'm on it too much right now. It's just, like, it's annoying knowing that, like, I could do this stream tomorrow, no issues, and then the day out, you know, a couple weeks randomly, it'll just, like, cut me out, you know. Oh, Swamp Dwellers live? Nice, nice. Tell him I said hey. But let's do this thing. We're gonna be reading some backpacking, sort of traveling type stories, so that should be pretty sweet. The Drunken Horseman has arrived. Perfect. We've been waiting. But if you enjoy this little synthwave action, it's called Alive, a synthwave outrun mix special compilation from Astral Throb. It's also like shit in the bed. I don't know if you can hear that, like, scratchiness when it plays. Maybe I've just got dog shit internet and I don't even realize it, even though I think I'm paying for, like, the best. I'm gonna switch over to Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. The man, the myth, the legend. Jesus, it's just like scratching, dude. It's fucking bad. I actually want to get the fuck out of this. It's so shit. I don't know if you guys are hearing that or not, but maybe I should just download some of those mixes, because I don't fucking know why they're having such a struggle bus. Broken Jade with the 5 says, hey Joel, your voice is so relaxing. I always look forward to your streams. Thank you, Broken Jade. Thank you for the 5. Appreciate that. And Remy with the 1. Thank you, Remy. I like your dog picture. Shine Door Bubba 2 says, do you play Among Us? You know, I keep saying that I'm going to. And I played a little bit. And I haven't jumped back in it, but we do need to get a fucking group of people going in Discord or something, because that would be sick. You can hear the scratches. Yeah. It's just basically like... I don't know. I actually don't know. But yeah, just let me know if there's any more technical issues. I'm sorry about that. We're just gonna focus on the here and now. Now. Lifetime pass for the struggle bus. This is true. Oh, you're playing Among Us currently while listening. Nice. I did play through Doom Eternal, not the whole thing. I got kind of bored because it was like the gameplay was a little bit repetitive for me because it was the same as the first one, you know, overall, aside from like the mobility movement and stuff like that. But I was just like, I don't know, it didn't hit me as. And then there was like story elements which I found interesting, but like they only ever happened every like, and there's like every act, and there's only like 3 acts or something like that, if that makes sense. Ever show my face on camera? I don't really think I would. You know, I don't really feel like it's like the main appeal of the stream, and I feel like it would be, I'd be like weird about it. Like I wouldn't feel good about it. I feel like I'd be distracted by it the whole time, and I kind of like, I know it doesn't really matter, like people's thoughts about you don't really matter or whatever, but like I just feel like it would be something that would distract me. Like I couldn't just like shove my finger up my nose at any time without everyone calling me out on it. He's picking his nose, what the fuck? No, I'm picking my brain, bro. I'm fucking getting up in there. Xbone with a 1. Thank you, Xbone. And Alex Zandra with the big $20 says, hey Joel, I believe in you. Thank you for being such an amazing guy. I love the streams. I love the Discord. I'm very happy to be a part of the crew. P.S. Have any drawing ideas for me? I need something to draw. Shit. What do you guys think? Oh, well, I see the name, Drunken Horseman. Maybe you could draw a Drunken Horseman. That sounds kind of sweet. And thank you again. I appreciate it. And Venus Flytrap with the 10 says, Joel, we gotta play Among Us. When is this gonna happen? I'm down for a few rounds after the stream. I don't know if anybody's up for it, but I'm ready to go. It's also funny, I watched PewDiePie playing a little bit of Among Us, and I just saw like corpses in his crew. I thought that was, I don't know, I just find it interesting. Like, Corpse Husband is now PewDiePie's BFF. Saquon is out. Yeah, dude, Saquon Barkley of the New York Giants, running back, hurt his ACL. Season-ending injury, I'm fairly certain. And it's just like, sweet. He was on a shit team with a shit O-line, and now he's got a fucking shitty injury that could potentially haunt him for the remainder of his career. And, you know, he's still got his paycheck and shit like that. But, you know, you just want to see someone be a fucking Hall of Famer, you know? You want to see someone go to the goddamn Hall of Fame. And I literally thought that he was going to be capable of doing that. And I still do believe in him because he's a hard worker, but that's just such a shit thing to happen. All right. Do I ever listen to Enigma? It sounds familiar. I don't recognize it. You might have to remind me. I am from the East Coast. Yas. All right. I'm going to record 10 seconds of silence here for the troops, both sides. And so I can remove the background noise after, and then we will kick this off. Remy with the 2 says, almost been 3 years subbed. Holy shit, Remy, that's crazy. 3 whole years. That's such a... I appreciate you guys sticking around, you know? I'm glad that I can provide you with something that you feel is useful to you 3 years later, you know? That's awesome.
Hey, listen!
As part of his import-export business, an old friend of my dad's had a place out on the island nation of Sri Lanka, located in the Indian Ocean southwest of the Bay of Bengal. Wait, there's Bengal tigers and then Bay of Bengal. Is it the Bay of Bengal? Because I feel like I could see it being like... not pronounced that way. I'm just going to say Bengal because, I mean, there's Bengal tigers, right? You say Bengal, so you presume that those are the same tigers. Located in the Indian Ocean southwest of the Bay of Bengal, Sri Lanka is remarkably similar to its neighbor India in many ways, but is also considerably more chill, making it a great holiday destination. More relax and enjoy instead of the mind-expanding experience of India with all of its temples, festivals, and bustling market districts. So back in 2012, my dad's mate told me his house over there would be empty for a few months during the winter. He usually rents it out to tourists, but there was a little gap in the bookings and suggested that for a considerable discount, I could rent that place out and get some long overdue traveling done. Obviously, I jumped at the opportunity and blew all the meager savings I had on plane tickets and the rent. I knew I was in for the adventure of a lifetime, but I had no idea how truly memorable it would turn out to be for me, and not for the right reasons either. So, a little bit of background. The place I ended up staying in, a little town called Hikkaduwa. I don't know how to say any of these, honestly. I gotta look it up. I know it's a waste of time, but I gotta look it up. It just bothers me if I pronounce shit like completely fucked up in the first story, because then people just get so triggered by it in the comments. Let's see. I doubt that this is it. It's just a page, just a bunch of... I can't ever find a fucking...
Hello, today I'm going to show you Hikkaduwa.
Alright. Pronounced exactly how it looks. Hikkaduwa. Alright, Fry. See you, dude. Thanks for being here. So a little bit of background. The place I ended up staying in, a little town called Hikkaduwa, is a huge tourist destination. It's full of backpackers from all over the Western world. Like, you can't swing a cat in Hikka without hitting some white dude with dreadlocks who's playing Bob Marley from a Bluetooth speaker. And no offense to those guys, there's some genuinely lovely people sometimes, but if I wanted to spend my time with a bunch of hippies chatting bollocks about left-wing politics, I'd just buy a Glastonbury ticket for considerably cheaper. As a result, I found myself eschewing... I should probably leave that out. That also probably is going to trigger somebody. Everybody gets so fucking butthurt about politics. Wow. Oh, shit. Mel with the $20 Reno. Thank you, Mel. Appreciate that. I'm just gonna... I'll just skip over that entire paragraph of baloney right there. It's full of backpackers from all over the Western world. Like, you can't swing a cat in Hikka without hitting some white dude with dreadlocks who's playing Bob Marley from a Bluetooth speaker. As a result, I found myself eschewing all the hippie haunts and the Starbucks ripoff that dotted Hikkaduwa's main drag, in favor of the little roddy shops and curry houses that only ever seemed to cater to the local Sri Lankan. And that's how I met Lassie. One of the things I noticed about the local food was how mild it was. I actually commented on this to a waiter in one of the swankier tourist places I went to on my first night there, and he laughed before saying something along the lines of... Shit, my voice cracked. No talking about bonking your bonks, people. No bonkings. Where the fuck was I? Shit. I should be wearing a tuxedo. I am wearing a tuxedo right now. I'm always dressed to impressed. Live stream sounds inspirational, yeah. I don't even know what I would show you. I'd just like show you guys me going to the gym, which would be really boring. So when I ended up in this little place where I was the only white guy to be seen... Oh, wait, fuck. Where the fuck was the last bullshit that I was reading? Also, my fucking microphone is like slowly sinking down into the dirt. I don't know why. Okay. That's how I met Lossie. Okay, let me just start back there. I shouldn't be stressed out because of that like technical bullshit that I had there, but for some reason it's like... It just like threw off my chi. I'm sorry, dudes. I'm chi-less. Full astronaut suit. That's true. That's me sitting there. Motionless. That's how I met Lossie. One of the things I noticed about the local food was how mild it was. I actually commented on this to a waiter in one of the swankier tourist places I went to on my first night there, and he laughed before saying something along the lines of, "This is just for the tourists. Real Sri Lankan food is much spicier." So when I ended up in this little curry place where I was the only white guy to be seen, I made the mistake of asking for what they call over there home style. When it arrived at my table, I realized that everyone in the entire place was staring at me with grins on their faces, just waiting for me to try the food. Not one to back down from a challenge, I tucked in eagerly, spooning a few mouthfuls of rice and curry sauce in my face, before all of a sudden... Blah, blah, blah. Boogeyman with the 20 Canadian maple syrup does says, "Hey fam, missed you guys. Was just working in a place called Kimono, bare bones Wi-Fi, and no network. Never appreciated Joel's lullabies so damn much." Oh, thank you, Boogeyman. Appreciate that. Hope you're staying safe out there in the sticks, it sounds like. Mayonnaise is a spice, don't get me wrong. Pradeep does kind of have a tuxedo with his little white hairs on his chest. Of course, they're not visible, but they're like, I counted them. There was 7 white hairs, so he's actually a lucky black cat. Not one to back down from a challenge, I tucked in early, spooning a few mouthfuls of rice and curry sauce into my face, before all of a sudden, the heat kicked in. It was like nothing I'd ever felt in my entire life, like a bomb had gone off in my mouth. I was coughing, spluttering, reaching for my glass bottle of Coke, but the sugary liquid only seemed to wash the taste around my mouth, making it worse. I'm not joking when I say my actual eyebrows were sweating by the time this long-haired Sri Lankan guy, one about the same age as me, starts patting me on the back and asking if I'm okay. I give him a wordless nod, just trying not to embarrass myself any further, listening to the gentle teetering of the locals around me who were clearly very amused by the woeful display of Western weakness. The guy then says something in Sinhala at the guy manning the counter, who swiftly brings over a glass of what looked like milk, but turned out to have the consistency of yogurt. "This drink has my name," the guy said in almost perfect English as he sat down opposite me. "It's called Lassi. Try it." I took a drink of it, and instantly felt the pain in my mouth start to ebb away. Apparently something about dairy counteracts the spiciness of things, and in a state of absolute relief, I thanked him profusely. That's how me and Lassi started hanging out. He introduced me to his friends who played pool together most nights, showed me the surf school they ran together, and taught me a few words in Sinhala, the local language. Then one day, Lassi tells me that there's this beach party going on over the weekend, and says since he knows the owners of the bar it's taking place at, that he could get me in for free instead of having to pay the ludicrous ticket prices that were given to tourists. It did sound like a good laugh, so I agreed to go. So, cut to a few nights later, when I head down to the pool hall where Lassi and his mates were hanging out. We sink a few cheap Lion beers, insanely cheap, 75 cents for a pint bottle cheap. Play a few games of pool, then head down to the beach bar. The place was jumping. Tourists and backpackers from all over Hikkaduwa had just descended on the place for the night, and the air thumped with the bass that came from the set of huge speakers near a DJ booth. Because he was cousins or friends with the owner, Lassi and his mates got us in for free, just as he promised. But aside from that, The disparity between the locals and the tourists mounted considerably. Anyone with a white face was allowed past the line to pay for tickets, which amounted to a month's wages to a Sri Lankan person, so not many of the locals could get in. The only Sri Lankans that could afford to pay for tickets were those rich kids that had come down from the capital, Colombo. These guys were instantly recognizable compared to Lassie and his mates. They wore shrift. Boogeyman with a 5 says it was crawling with grizzlies. It's pretty much a sanctuary. The pics and vids I got. Shit. Damn, you should post those pics on the Discord. That'd be sick. Fucking grizzlies, man. That's like one of my biggest fears. Getting eaten by those bastards. They just seem like just so gargantuan. It's also weird, like, whenever I just seen that picture of like a girl standing, a black bear standing, and then a fucking grizzly standing, like, towering over the black bear, and then like a polar bear towering over the fucking grizzly. Like, Jesus, dude. And I hear someone told me that the polar bears actually hunt for sport. Like, sometimes they'll just kill for the fun of it and not eat it, not eat the thing. And I'm like, that's fucking weird. Some lasagna. What are you, Garfield? They wore surf shorts and old hand-me-down t-shirts, while the rich kids from Colombo had expensive shirts and jewelry on. Idiots, Lassie said at one point, gesturing to a group of Colombo kids throwing money around near the bar. They look down on us like we're rats. I would not have invited you if I had known they were going to be here. Why not? They're just some dumb rich kids. We got those too in the UK. I told him. Wait and see, Lassie replied, then said something that started off a kind of tension that grew and grew as the night went on. There will be trouble. So I feel like I should make a disclaimer at this point. In my experience, every Sri Lankan I had met aside from these rich idiots from Colombo were perfectly nice and polite. None of the girls I spoke to while I was there complained of being harassed by Sri Lankans or spoke to in any way other than gentlemanly, but these Colombo kids were different, and the explanation of their behavior is something I'm pretty much quoting from Lassie. Despite being Buddhist, Sri Lanka is still quite a conservative society, like he never saw any young Sri Lankan girls anywhere other than the markets when they were doing their shopping. They were never at any of the bars at night except for when they were working, and they didn't hang around the beaches like their male counterparts were allowed to. Sri Lankan girls are chaste, but... Wait, chaste? Is that the right? Chaste? These girls are chaste.
Chaste.
Chaste. Abstaining from extramarital or from sexual intercourse. What's that? What is that? Chaste. Chastity. Should do a face reveal. You should do a face reveal. Here, if we both do it. Same time. Ready, go. Chaste. Chaste. Sri Lankan girls are chaste, but the view among certain sections of Sri Lankan was the Western girls were not. Lassie and his friends knew better than to go creeping on white girls on the beaches wearing their little bikinis, but the same could not be said for the rich kids from Colombo. And they weren't just overly flirtatious with the Western girls, they were downright pervy with them. At one point, I see this drunk, jewelry-dripping idiot just straight up pinch this Western girl's bottom. It was seriously gross. He didn't just pinch it, as the expression goes, he actually groped her. She gave the guy a dirty look, and the guy just laughed. I'm kind of ashamed to say it now, but I didn't say anything to Lassie or his mates. The mood was getting pretty tense by that point, and I didn't want anything to kick off. But it seems by that time, that ship had sailed. We're just sitting around a table drinking at one point when one of Lassie's mates, this guy Dinesh, stands up and starts shouting something in Sinhala over the Colombo kids. He'd just witnessed one of them groping a Western girl again and had absolutely lost his cool at the sight of it. Yo, they give us a bad name, he said to me at one point, turning back to the Colombo kids and shouting something in his language at them. They made some insulting gesture back to him and brushed off his reproach. His reproachy roach. Boogeyman with a 5er says, put a few pics in Discord. It was amazing. These beasts are such impressive animals. Yeah, I cannot imagine. I mean, just like, I don't know. I see them like galloping around. Don't they get up to like 30 miles an hour running and they're fucking like 800, 1,000 pounds? Like, can you imagine like if you don't die from the sheer fucking weight of them just like laying on top of you, let alone being fucking mauled, you know? And I get, like, I guess people, like, play dead. Holy fuck, that would be so terrifying, man. That's, like, my true scary story, and I kind of hope that it never happens. Honestly, I don't even know what I'd rather be killed by, a grizzly or a fucking shark, because those are some of my two biggest fears. Imagine if a shark and a grizzly had sex and made a shrizzly. Who does the artwork? That is good old Robin Mikalsen. He's not in here currently, but yeah, he's very talented. Does all my thumbnails for the most part and all the background art. You love sharks? I don't love sharks. I feel like they just... I mean, I'm sure they're nice creatures and they just remind me of fish or whatever. But even with fish, I kind of feel like relatively disconnected from them as far as like their personalities go. They just look like soulless creatures with, I don't know, like they're just controlled on pure instinct. You were on Shark Tank tonight. Nice. Did you sell your product for a 1 trillion investment? You should, honestly, I'm okay. Yeah, please do educate me on sharks, because I do feel bad like hating them so much and knowing for a fact that they're not that bad, but it's just... Did you hear Pradeep? Did you hear that? He's fucking nuts, dude. Let me let him in real quick. You were just watching Jaws? Oh my god. Oh. You gonna get some cake? I'll take some cake. That sounds fucking nice. Let me get that cake. The boo cakey. Biggest grizz ever was like 1,700 pounds. It's fucking nutball, dude. Actually nutball. Mischievous grizzlies. Yeah, Pradeep is very mischievous. They made some insulting gesture back to him and brushed off his reproach, and after that, the situation just got worse and worse. Eventually, some Western girl actually starts shouting in the face of one of the Colombo kids. Fuck, I was gonna say girls. I put Pradeep on the camera. Yeah, some streamers do that where they have like a certain place where their cat lays consistently, so they like put the camera on them and stuff, and Pradeep's all over the fucking place. You'll bake me a cake? Thank you. They made some insulting gesture back to him and brushed off his reproach, and after that, the situation just got worse and worse. Eventually, some Western girl actually starts shouting in the face of one of the Colombo kids. There had been another incident, only this time, she hadn't taken it lying down. I think the girl was German or Norwegian or something, as she was proper screaming in this lad's face, but I couldn't quite make out what she was saying. A little crowd gathers to watch the German girl shove the rich Colombo kid in the chest, which would normally go without a response back in the West, but the whole crowd gasps when the rich kid just straight up slaps the girl. I turned to Lassie and his mates to be like, "What is going on? Did you just see that?" But they're already sprinting over to the rich kids. I run after them to try and stop what was about to unfold, but it was way too late. The biggest bar fight I'd ever seen was about to kick off. It was like something out of a film. I mean, it went from 0 to 100 in a few seconds. The good vibes over the sandy dance floor went from chill to tense and straight up violent in just a few moments. As the Colombo kids and the Lassie group just all started fighting each other. Not a single tourist tried to do anything about it, which I understand. No one wants to get thrown in jail and... whoops. Yeah, this is a long story, honestly. But I actually like it so far. It's pretty interesting. Kind of reminds me of, like, The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio. The documentary on Netflix of the diver getting a relation with an octopus. It's great. I'm positive you would like. That's cool. Yeah, octopi are quite intelligent creatures. I remember watching a thing on Animal Planet when I was a kid saying that, like, after humans die off or go somewhere else, that the next thing to evolve and take over the earth is probably octopi. But it didn't really make any sense because, like, the earth was, like, still had a bunch of fucking force and shit like that. I don't know. Maybe during this period of time it didn't have force. I don't know. It was this really, really weird-ass thing where it was, like, Walking with Dinosaurs, if you've ever seen that, which was, like, sick. But then they tried to make all these, like, knockoffs of Walking with Dinosaurs, and one of them was, like, hypothetical future creatures, like, millions of years in the future. And this one creature was called a flish. And it was like a flying fish, but it actually, instead of just like fluttering around for a bit and going back in the water, could actually like hardcore fly, which was sick. Mr. KW Jones with the 20 says, "Have you ever done stories about Bigfoot? I was when I was 9, I got lost in the woods because my brother. Long story short, a Bigfoot about 50 yards away was gesturing to me to come to it. Messed me up. Dad found me soon after." Well, Mr. KW Jones, thank you so much for the $20, and I would like you to elaborate more on that, because that sounds fucking cool as shit, but also terrifying. What kind of cake do I like? I really like carrot cake. I like ice cream cake, but I like all cakes, as long as it's not dry. Like, my mom used to make angel food cake, and I was fucking obsessed with the icing, but like, the cake itself was so, like, fluffy that it always felt like you could just, like, condense all of its matter into, like, the size of a pea, like the Big Bang or some shit, you know what I mean? But yeah, you should send in your Bigfoot story. That'd be awesome. I haven't read I have read Bigfoot stories on the channel. I think if you do the channel search, you should be able to find them on there. There's quite a few. Oh yes, coffee cake is fucking good too. Food. Have you guys ever eaten food? You like chalky cake? Nice. Yeah, it's Bigfoot's fucking cool, and you should send your story into reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial, or send it into letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com. All right, thanks. Everybody send your stories in. I need stories. Boogeyman with a 5 says, "My son Jude wants to say hi. Lolly's 5, but he loves scariness." Oh, hey Jude. Hey Jude. What's poppin', dude? Ask your dad if he'll take you to find Bigfoot. He's outside of your window as we speak, and you'll hear a creak on your bedroom door. Sorry, I hope I didn't scare him there. I hope I didn't scare him. I'm only here to scare adults. Okay. Oh, Lana. Thank you for the 5. Says, "Does anyone else have a phobia of windows at night? Someone or something looking at you through them." I guess I don't necessarily have like a full-on phobia. Hey, there's Electroshocker. What's poppin', dude? But I don't have a phobia per soi, but like, I definitely, when I was younger, I'd be sitting watching, like, if my family were gone somewhere, like, and I had like the whole living room to myself at nighttime, I Like there's a big sliding door that goes out to the deck, and then a big windows also like in the living room. And there was something about like the whole living room being lit up with normal lights, but then like, you know, outside you couldn't see anything but like big black windows because it was just like pitch black outside, and you know, obviously the way the lighting works, you just can't see. And fuck, dude, it was, you know, literally nothing happened, but it was spooky as hell. It probably did more to keep bugs, you know, away from me, which was more of a threat than anything actually bad. Okay. Joel, what should I eat? Maybe like a curry chicken. Curry chicken's fucking good. Maybe like a bread. Now you want cake. Yeah, get some cake. Get some cake in you. Get some cake in you, would you? If you get a feeling of being watched at night, just know it's a shadow demon. Shadow demon. Not a single tourist tried to do anything about it, which I understand. No one wants to get thrown into a foreign jail. Only there was one big problem from my perspective. Lassie and his mates were only about 4 or 5 in number, whereas there was at least 12 to 15 of these Colombo kids, and they seriously outnumbered the lads I'd gotten friendly with. I had 2 choices. Not get involved, watch them get the life kicked out of them, and have to live with being a complete coward for the rest of my time there, or get involved, get my butt kicked, and potentially face getting arrested and thrown into a Sri Lankan prison for assault. I chose the latter and seriously suffered for it. You see, I'm not much of a fighter, never have been, so not only did I take a few serious punches during the brawl, but I wasn't prepared for the level these guys were willing to take it. Not only were these lads hurling beer bottles at each other, but there was this big pile of wooden sticks that were fueling this big bonfire on the beach. They started grabbing those and just swinging them at each other. I remember rushing in to grab one of the sticks from one of the Colombo kids, then taking a whack on the head from what I can only assume was another. It was like a cartoon. My head was literally spinning from the impact, and I staggered away for a few paces, like literally seeing stars, having to shake off the impact before I could turn around and get involved again. Only by the time I do, Lassie was just laying there on the sand with the other Hicka guys just trying to fight off like 3 guys each, putting up a good fight but eventually being overcome. That's when I see one of the Colombo kids with a bottle in his hand. He hands over Lassie and just brings the empty bottle down on his face as hard as he could. Jesus, the sound of that thing shattering on his forehead, I can still hear it crystal clear to this day. They're not done there either. They start smashing him in the head with the wooden sticks, while he already has this broken glass all over his face and head. I remember the sick feeling I felt at the time, thinking, they're actually gonna try and kill him. Not like the fights in the UK, which are pretty posturing. These guys were legit trying to finish Lassie off as he lay there in the sand, covered in glass. I didn't know what else to do. I just kind of put myself in between their sticks and Lassie's head, letting the blows rain down on my arms, which I was using to cover my head. I was probably the dumbest. Oops. In the Rescuers movie, similar, there was a scene where a bat pooped up in the window, and it scared me so bad, age 6 and above. Justin with the 5 says, "My guy, my sir, my liege, my queen." Thank you, Justin. It's good to see ya.
It's good to see you. Welcome.
You have Barbie-ophobia? Barbie, they're afraid of you. What will you do? How will you assuage their fears? If you could have any pet, what would it be? Fuck, dude, a tiger would be sick, you know? But then they get, like, older than 18 months and they could fucking eat you. But it would be so sick, dude. It would be so... I honestly... I know Tiger King's in jail, you know, and whatnot. But I think we need to get him out. Mainly because I would like to go down to his farm, his tiger farm, and pet some of the baby tigers, especially the ones that can't kill me. You know what I mean? So that would be sick, and I think is legit enough reason to pardon him. So if you needed another reason to vote for me as presidente, el presidente, there you go. I will free the Tiger King, and everyone will get a pet. Marie with a 10 says, I can't leave 666, so this is the next best thing. Congrats on 666K. Thank you, Marie. Thank you for the 10 buckaroonies, the 999. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Come a long way. Come a long way. Miniature panther living in your house. I do. And sometimes, honestly, like, he's not a very, like, violent fellow, but sometimes I kind of coax him a little bit and get him riled up, you know, like, especially when I'm like, he loves having his belly pet and, you know, all that kind of shit, and being flipped and flooped around like a ferret. You know, he's very bendy and being held like a baby and stuff, but like once in a while he's laying on the bed and I'll be rubbing his belly and just kind of give him a little bit of a tickle, and it irritates him. And then I keep doing it, just like edging him, because, you know, that's what a good pet parent does. And then he'll start to, like, you know, try to fight my hand and stuff. And sometimes he'll get a hold of it, you know what I mean? And like literally try to like dig his teeth into my skin as hard as he can. He actually doesn't bite as hard as like some other cats I've come across do. So that's, you know, I'm not trying to talk shit on him, on Pradeep or anything like that, but he's got kind of a baby bite. And like, but I can only imagine, like, what if you irritated like a tiger, or even a tiger just playing, like that chick, or, you know, the person in the fucking show, like, got her hand like ripped off, and I'm like, holy fuck. Just like the tiger was like playing, you know. Would I ever write a book? Yeah, that'd be cool. I just don't know. I don't know if I could do it, you know. Like, I remember I wrote like 12 pages of like a short science fiction thing, and I felt that I was like halfway through the fucking story by 12 pages, and I was like, this, I don't know how some people can like write, you know, like 7 books and shit. Anybody going trick-or-treating this year? I was curious. Yeah, I assume like it depends on where you're at, but like I could totally see like a bunch of, you know, boroughs and townships just being like, trick-or-treating is canceled, and if you put out any candy, you will be shot on sight, or some shit like that. So, write a fan fiction. What would I write about? Let's read fan fiction. My voice sounds more relaxed. Yeah, I think I found my my chi again. Sometimes I wonder if it has to do with just like hormones, you know, because I'm going through like my 12th puberty. Have you ever thought about doing voiceovers in film? I have, and I think about it a lot, but I also like have no clue where to start. You know what I mean? I know people say like get a fucking, you know, agent, but I'm like, where do I go to get an agent? You know, I guess you just look it up on the intranet. I'm sure there's somebody, but I do have a friend that works at Funimation and stuff, but you have to like, you know, you have to live within a certain distance from them. But I don't know if that's different now, like from related to like COVID or whatever, as far as everybody working from home. I think I would just have to like upgrade my shit and like get that all figured out, which I don't think would be too hard. I'm just not sure if I would be a good anime character. You've yeed your last ha, boy. Random boners at the wrong time once was enough for me. Yeah, welcome to 7th grade, bro. Wearing basketball shorts and random boners when you have to come up to like solve an equation. Fuck that. But I don't know. If anybody has any advice on the whole agent thing, you'll be my agent, no experience though. That's fair. You can do it remote now. Funimation would be dope. Yeah, that would be sick. You know, I just that would be so cool. Honestly, that'd be so much fun. It seems like she has a lot of fun when she does it. So I'm like, and she's so like happy that she gets to do it. You know, so I'm like that. But at the same time, like, I have no idea how you go about that process. And I would be like stoked about it too. I'd be like, yo, dudes, go watch my anime. I'm in a fucking anime. Yeah, Tom Wolf will probably can't. I don't know if I'm sure Tom Wolf will just. I'm sure everybody's governors will probably just leave it up to their boroughs, you know? Because. Imagine if you were the fucking governor who was like, I'm canceling Christmas. I am literally the fucking Grinch, and Christmas is fucking canceled. Because Halloween could, you know, technically be, you know, quote unquote canceled or whatever. Twitter's gonna cancel Halloween. Cancel culture has gone too far. It's canceled Christmas and Halloween. Start a rap career like Chills. You know, I always thought it'd be fun to make beats, but once again, it's just like Chills and, you know, Corpse and those guys, like, they took the time to learn how to make, you know, beats and, you know, use that software, and I guess I could figure it out or whatever, but I don't know. Fun is canceled. Go home and eat your veggies. Go drink your vitamin C and wear your mask while you go to bed. Emmy B with the 5 says, finally my life has gotten chill enough again to relax and listen to your stream. Thank you, Emmy. It's good to see you. It has been some time. Hashtag Halloween is over party. You should, honestly, we should just start hashtagging that. I don't know. Or and Christmas too. Just hashtag all of that shit. Let's get it fucking going. I'll retweet it. If someone does it, I'll retweet it. Yeah, for Halloween, I'm dying. Me too. I'll fucking shove my hand into a bunch of candy corn that everybody else spit in. I don't even give a shit anymore, even though I hate candy corn. But I love spit. Making beats is extremely easy. Use FL Studio, figured out in 15 minutes. You know, oddly enough, like after one, like I did download like a really shitty version of FL Studio, or just not a shitty version, but just like the base version, and I was fucking around with it. And dude, like as soon as I got like all the components together on like a tutorial, and like got the melody in there, I was like, holy shit! Like I actually felt like this like I transcended like a cathartic experience of like I made a fucking beat. You know, and I guess it is pretty simple, but I mean, I think it'd be so much fun, you know, but I just, you know, and everything in life, you just got to do it. Nike, just do it. Halloween, just cancel it. Oh yeah, Black Friday. Hopefully everybody maintains social distancing while they, you know, stampede over top of each other. I'm not sure if that's possible or not, but I believe in everyone. I believe in the power of consumerism. I believe in the power of consumerism. It was probably the dumbest thing I'd ever done. I know I could have come off so much worse, and it was honestly the most incredible stroke of luck that right as I'm thinking these dudes are going to beat me to death, that the Sri Lankan police turned up and had the Colombo kids running away. The aftermath was just absolutely horrific, like something out of a war movie or something. There was broken glass everywhere, blood soaking into the sand. The music from the DJ was off at that point, so the whole thing was soundtracked by the sobbing of the girls who'd witnessed such an extreme display of physical violence. I could barely keep a straight thought in my head. The adrenaline was still coursing through me. The only good thing... Oops. You're dressing up as Let's Read in this hot-ass voice. I could barely keep a straight head. Dude, this is my favorite part. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but this is my favorite part of this song. I play it every stream, mainly just because it's like doesn't interrupt too much, but I just love this fucking sound. It's like you're underwater and you're seeing some fucking sweet ass shit underwater. Emmy B with a 5 says, by the way, it's my 28th birthday in half an hour. Oh, shit. Guys, we gotta sing. We gotta sing Emmy B a happy birthday in half an hour. It's coming up very quickly. I hope we remember to sing for her. Somebody remind me in less than half an hour. Scapegoat, you tagged me with a hashtag on Twitter. Dude. That's like the most boomer sentence I've ever read. Just kidding, though. That's awesome. And I will retweet that. Boogeyman with a 5 says, hey, been a minute. How's the ankle? Almost forgot mine's been busted 4 times and is flaccid as hell. Also, I'm a roofer by trade, so oh fuck. So you fall off of that shit a lot? That would suck. You know, my ankle's been, well, I'm sorry about yours, because that would, I feel terrible hearing that it's like flaccid. Like, what the fuck? Sorry about that. But yeah, I'm doing good. I am standing right now. I actually just got new shoes. I'm at my stand-up desk, and I got these new like Brooks shoes, which are really fucking comfortable. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Brooks, but they're fucking dank shoes, very comfy, and my feet don't feel sore at all. So and I wore them to lifting today or whatever. But granted, lifting doesn't really require a lot of bouncing around. It's weird because sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and it's a little bit like stiff. You know what I mean? Like, that's what she said. And like, so I should probably get back to the hydrotherapy of like back and forth between hot and cold water. It's just sometimes, do you ever like, you know, have an injury, you like treat it like really well for a little bit, but then as soon as you start to get a little bit better, you're just like, fuck it, dude, I don't even remember what's wrong with me. Woo! The Dana and Hannah show with a 5. Buckaroo says, the only time you read my comment was the stupidest thing I said, and now I'm going to bed. Good night, but also I'll probably be back. Okay. Oh, you know what I found out that actually helps a lot with sleeping, Hannah? I'm speaking specifically to you. No, I'm just kidding. There's this cool shit that I got. It's called ZMAs. And this is not sponsored. Everything on here, there's... Maybe one day I'll do a sponsored stream. I don't know if anybody would ever be interested in that or something like that. But these things called ZMAs. And basically it has zinc, magnesium, and vitamin B6 complex. And supposedly if you're like lifting and shit like that, you take this at the end of the night, and it like the magnesium in it helps to enable your muscle. I don't know exactly, like, but basically it's like supposed to allow you to achieve like a deeper REM sleep, you know? Which I think at the end of the day, if you can get to a deeper REM sleep quicker, you will have a more restful night and your body will be able to recover. It's also supposedly able to like deliver nutrients to your muscles and stuff and help them recover and that kind of thing. So yeah, this chat is brought to you by Mountain Dew ZMAs, zinc. But yeah, and then also helps with your immune system as well, because zinc is very good for you. So check that out. What ZMA? Oh, it's from Optimum Nutrition. So they're pretty like popular brand. You can find it on Amazon like instantaneously. Brittany, you gonna sponsor me? What product are we sponsoring? Sharks. This is brought to you by Sharks. On this stream, I'm gonna swim with them because Brittany's paying me to do it. You take magnesium before bed too, and doxylamine succinate. I never heard of that last one. Is DLS or some shit, or doxylamine succinate? Is that how you say it? Succinate or succinate? I've never heard of that one, but yeah, magnesium is supposed to be good for sleepy sleep time, sleep action, hot sleep action, hot sleep. And Raid Shadow Legends, yes. That'd be so funny if just like you were at like a funeral and like, first I want to thank our sponsors for our lost loved one, Raid Shadow Legends, and then like they like rigged your grandma to like a fucking thing, like, and she gets up and her jaw's moving like, Raid Shadow Legends is brought to you by, with over 1 million players worldwide. There's a reason why Raid Shadow Legend has over 1 trillion 5-star reviews. Do you think sharks twerk? I know they twerk. I see that booty sleeking around there in the deep blue sea. Your secret weapon for building muscles is injections of blood. It was kind of crazy. I watched some of these, like this one world record weightlifter. His name is Lasha, and he was fucking just repping out like, he was repping out like 700 pounds on squat. I mean, he's like 6'6", like almost 400 pounds, like. But it's just so crazy, like, and you know, he's so flexible too, which is really impressive. I sound like a fish person from Call of Cthulhu. That's funny. Yuritsa893 with the 15. Thank you so much, Yuritsa. I don't know if you're in the chat, but I felt bad whenever I was transitioning between the one stream, the stream that fucked up to this one. I saw that you had donated because it was like still showing me live, and I had to like wait for my internet to come back and then like manually fucking, you know, do that thing. Blown out knees. Oh yeah, he wears knee wraps, so he's doing good. But thank you so much for that donation and your previous one. Just shoot me an @ message in the chat there if you would like to add a message. Would you like to add a message? Wasn't the Game of Thrones guy a world record holder? Yeah, dude. He has a YouTube channel, The Mountain. He's fucking badass, dude. He's like 6'9" or 6'8" or something, and I think he holds the world record for like deadlift at like 1,100 pounds or something like that. Like something fucking nutball. Like just crazy. I don't really think he does like snatch or cleans or clean and jerks or anything like that, but I watched some of his YouTube, and he literally is a giant, and his girlfriend is like the size of one of his legs, which is funny to me. Venikins art with a 2 says, "How's my boys, Joel and Pradeep Kite? Much love." Thank you, Venikins. Good to see you. Kitty, yes, he's at my feet right now on his backpack. I'll give him a little boopy boop. Oh shit! I stepped on my wire. Fuck. The Mountain was also one of the youngest on set. Yeah, that's crazy. And do I squish the toe beans on Pradeep? You know, sometimes, I think that's one thing that irritates him a little bit, is like when you touch his feet. Like, I'll pet the tops of them, but if you like touch them or give him a squoozing, he's like, hey, what the fuck? Get away. Kim, you're welcome. It was my first time here. I enjoyed the stream. Have a good night. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's nice to be strong. Tis, I guess. It was funny. I was at the gym today, and like I'm doing like these big old squats. I'm doing big squats. But like there was these like group of like girls doing CrossFit shit like on the other side of the rig in front of me, and I just had this funny thought that it would be like funny to like walk in between their circle, like walk through it as they're like doing their little team workout, but then like fart and just leave like a really stinky fart in their circle of, and then just not say anything and just leave, you know, like see ya. Enjoy that shit. I could barely keep a straight thought in my head. The adrenaline was still coursing through me. The only thing I could think of was the word ambulance, which I repeated over and over to the Sri Lankan policemen that viewed the scene with a disturbing kind of apathy. It was like they saw this kind of thing all the time, or at least so many times that it didn't move them in any way. "No ambulance, tuk-tuk," one of them said, meaning that we'd have to carry the wounded to one of the waiting rickshaw taxis that floated around the bars every night, waiting to ferry drunken tourists back to their hostels. I started trying to wake Lassie up, to at least get him onto his feet, but even as he roused back into consciousness, he couldn't move. I tried to lift him up, tried enlisting the help of others when I failed to do so, but for some reason, They were huddled around another of Lassie's friends. I was apt to play... Fuck. Play a fart with my phone. That would be fun. That's what I think about in the gym, yeah. Rather than staring at their butts, I think about what can be coming out of my butt that can make them very, very uncomfortable. You mean to write a story about Barbie? Which Barbie, you or the doll? Yeah, that's, farts are a very alpha thing to do, I don't know. It's just like, sometimes it's just like not fun because I have a lot of fun with you guys saying stupid shit all the time. And it just like sucks going to an environment that's like, like the gym where you don't know people and you want to know them, but you don't have the social context to like integrate yourself into their existence. So you're just like, and you're not really sure if they desire that at all or want you to talk to them at all. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know, it's just weird, like everyday, like working out, like doing this weird thing where you lift the weight up and you put it down and you eat food and you get big and blah, 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 blah. But, and you're doing it next to people and maybe you'll make like passing conversation, but it never really like, I don't know, it never really transcends to any sort of like particular social level, I suppose. And but at the same time, that you can accomplish, I don't know, like it's just such a strange perception of psychology, like people's relative comfort levels with each other, how like over a period of time you go from like not talking to each other to like farting, and trapping them under the covers. It's just like interesting how comfort usually progresses. But why is it that people are so uncomfortable with each other so early on? Why am I shy? I don't think that I'm shy, but I'm also like painfully normal, I guess. You know what I mean? And like where it takes me a bit, it almost makes like, I know that I can be funny and goofy and weird and make people laugh and blah 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 bullshit, but like I'm so used to like the college like demographic, and like usually those people amidst that demographic, like including my own age group, like kind of, do I have PayPal? Yeah, there actually is one link down below that's like a what is it? I forget, but it is linked down below if you desire to see that. Thank you. But like, I don't know. Only people that will talk to me are lonely dudes. Well, I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to, how you judge if someone's lonely, or are they just like weirdos, maybe is what you're trying to say. Because people are mean and judgmental. Yeah, you get used to that. You get used to like people just like, being like, what the fuck? What the fuck are you talking about? So then you just like don't show yourself, or you don't like present who you are as like easily, Join the Barbie squad. Hello, Kitty. What's up? A lot of alpha fart jokes. I'm watching Cobra Kai. I heard about it, but I haven't yet. I need to get on that. I think it's the whole pack mentality thing. Yeah, I've always been kind of jealous of like girls in the sense that like they're very prone to like pack mentality. So like they always have each other to like protect one another. But it's like it's understandable in the sense that like, if you're you're trying to protect from like a fucking barbarian or some shit like that, you know what I mean? Or like, I don't know, and the invading Mongolians or some shit. But like, or another tribe or whatever. But when it comes to just like basic social interaction, like I feel like guys are, are more commonly like loners, but like are just as lonely as a girl would be if she wasn't in some sort of like social group that was protecting her, you know what I mean? And hey Dylan, what's up? So it's just, I don't know, but the weird thing is too is that like I noticed that like when you're entering into a new social group, that girls are at least what I've noticed is that they seem to be a lot more uh, welcoming to a girl that's not within a group or seems to be a loner. Like they seem to be more comfortable with like integrating them into their, you know, osmosis or whatever the fuck, and like into their cell, and like with guys not so much. You know what I mean? Like guys will be like, "What's up? What's up? Yeah, no worries, dude. Cool, cool. All right. I literally have no use for you in my life. Peace." Have I played Silent Hill? I haven't really, actually. I've seen it. Yeah, Steve, it's true. It's true. It's weird too. It's like whenever I like, sorry to just ramble this whole. There's a total of 5 stories tonight, and I don't think they're all quite as long as this one, but this one's pretty good, and I feel bad that I'm just like rambling, but yeah, you know, it was so cool when like last summer when I went to. And it's weird that it's been a whole year, you know, because it actually feels like it's been longer, kind of, but. Last summer I went to Anaheim for the whole VidCon thing, and just like getting to meet people within the context of like, you know, creating things. Everyone was just like so open, you know what I mean? And like just and especially like meeting some people that I met online, like Blame It on George and That Creepy Reading. Like we played games with each other and stuff like that online, and then getting to see that manifest in real life. It was just like such a cool moment, you know what I mean? Where you're like, holy shit, these are the people that I am friendos with. And sometimes I think, you know, like there's something cool about the internet where like it creates almost like a social buffer zone where like obviously you might not say all the things that you would say to somebody IRL, like just meeting them, but something about being online with them makes you feel comfortable to just say whatever the fuck. But that sort of like social lubricant like enables you so that whenever you meet later or something like that, or if you happen to meet somewhere else, you suddenly have like this icebreaker. And that's always the weirdest thing to me, is that like people just like need icebreakers. You just need icebreakers to feel comfortable with each other. Like, did you ever, I mean, have you ever, I'm sure a lot of you have like graduated high school and stuff, but did you ever like not talk to someone at all, you know, during high school or whenever the fuck, and then later on you see them in college, or you see them, you know, at your job or your work or something, and just because you have the icebreaker that you went to high school together, suddenly now you speak and are friends, and you know, maybe you know, go play mini golf or some shit. And like it's just weird to me. It's like, why was it not, you know, socially conventional to speak to each other back then, but suddenly now this gives you yeah, hello is an icebreaker. That's a good point. That's a good. Why does it not work? Why do I not use it? I need to just use it more often. People use alcohol as lube. Rubbing alcohol, yeah. Yeah, humans tend to be loners, and it's so strange because it's like all we really know is we have like one life, you know, but like we guard that life so fucking hard. We guard it like we just put like such a fucking tight, you know, guard around ourselves out of fear, not even sometimes of like physical detriment, you know what I mean? It's like out of a fear of like external judgment, but most of the time that like external judgment isn't even, you know, objectively identifiable. It's just like our own, it's like our own personal judgments attacking. It's literally like our internal demons. It's like ourselves attacking ourselves to keep ourselves from achieving ourselves goals. You know, it's really fucking weird. It's like an autoimmune disease of the fucking mind. Anyways, here's Wonderwall. I was livid. Lassie might be blind from the impact of that glass bottle, yet there were crowded... What the fuck? I was furious. Lassie might be blind from the impact of that glass bottle, yet there was a crowd... Yet they were crowded around another for some reason. Only when they lifted him up and ran across the sand with his body hoisted up did I realize that he was hard... Dude, I don't know why I'm struggling right here. I sound like I'm on shrooms. Oh my god, that's funny. Yeah, that's why I don't really like doing drugs, because like my mind goes into fucking overdrive. Like I'm just like already saying like insane shit nonstop. So it's like like it's kind of like whenever if I ever do use like marijuana or something with my friends, like I laugh fucking way too hard. Like so loud that it like they tell me to like stop. They're like, stop, you're gonna fucking wake people, you know. We live in a culture that promotes independence and not an emphasis on team building and communication. We don't teach kids to communicate effectively, ESP, when there is conflict. Yeah, fuck, man. How do you do that? What are some good ways to train kids to socialize and get the fuck away from their phone for a while and worrying about social media? Like, is it sports? Is it fucking little community bullshit? Like, all they really need is like forced experiences. Really, that's all you can do for kids is like, I don't want to fucking join Boy Scouts. Well, fuck you. You're joining fucking Boy Scouts or whatever dumb bullshit is available, and you're gonna learn how to be a human being like the rest of us. Or Girl Scouts, whatever. Or, you know, whatever they've created in between now. Straight into the army. Right into the army with you. Yeah. Well, yeah, you definitely live in an individualist society. We live in a society, in the sense that, yeah, like everything from the consumeristic standpoint is designated as like, you know, everything's got to be customizable to you, and all of your individual failings matter more than the groups and stuff, which is, you know, the complete opposite of like Western stuff. And you know, every individual complaint you've ever had in your life is like utterly valid and needs to be considered at all times. And let me coddle your chin so you don't drool. I don't know. I was furious. Lassie might be blind from the impact of that glass bottle, yet they were crowded around another for some reason. Only when they lifted him up and ran across the sand with his body hoisted up did I realize that he was hurt far, far worse. The mob that held him aloft left a trail of blood in their wake. I've never seen blood trails like that before, and I never want to again. Eventually they came back for Lassie, and we trudged across the sand with him held up in our arms. Jesus Christ, the sand made it so much harder to carry him. It would have been hard enough on the road, but the lack of resistance made my thighs burn by the time we got outside the bar, and to waiting... But the lack of resistance made my thighs burn by the time we got outside the bar and to a waiting tuk-tuk. It took until we were in the street lights of the road outside the bar to see how bad the damage was really done. There were shards of glass wedged all up and down the right side of his face, the shards that glittered in the bright white roadside lights. I had no idea if any had gotten into his eye, which was swollen shut from the impact of the wooden sticks. I had no idea if the impact of the sticks had caused a skull fracture or a brain bleed or any other number of things that might mean he wouldn't make it through the night. I tried to go to the hospital with him, but the other Sri Lankans pushed me away from the tuk-tuk, so there was room for those that knew him better. I didn't even speak enough Sinhala to be able... Cheyenne Dory Bob with the 5 says, Am I a boy? Because I try to make friends with girls and they usually are shady and fake as fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I noticed that with a lot of girls, like, they'll say, I always hear like different terms, like, this is my ex best friend. It's like, okay, ex best friend, that fucking sucks. But like, they'll have like 30 ex best friends or some shit, you know? And I'm like, dude, just, why does everyone hate each other so much and that stuff? At least that's my experience whenever I was like doing nursing and stuff. It was just, I noticed like, I was kind of a lone wolf in my experiences there, but like, like I was just, you know, I was pretty much there to be just fucking, you know, comedic relief, you know, because it's not like, what the fuck am I supposed to relate about, you know? I didn't, you know, have a period or anything like that, you know, and at least I didn't think I did. And like, you know, it just, like I noticed that the girls would do like, they would group up in twos, you know what I mean? They would get in twos and they would be each other's like, you know, besties and stuff, but then they would talk shit, you know, help each other study and stuff, but then they would talk shit on the other groups of twos and blah 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 blah, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, holy fuck, guys, I get it, you know, but who fucking cared? It was so like, it was so competitive when there was literally, it was like the most needless sense of competitive nature to any of, I mean, like, once we got into our program in nursing, it was like, it was competitive in the sense towards yourself. Like, you had to maintain a certain GPA to continue forward. So wouldn't it make sense to just fucking like help one another and to achieve that? But it was like, there was this constant state of like, fuck you, you know, I got an 88% and you got an 89. I want you to die. I want you to die. So, needless to say, we had over 5 homicides that graduating class. Very, very shady stuff. Hey, good night. Why do you want to know? That's a funny name. You can't go by nursing school. That's like war. Yeah, that's... Oh, fuck, dude. I keep looking at the microphone, and I think I'm getting, like, too close, so I hope I'm not, like, blowing your guys' fucking ears out with how close I'm getting to the microphone. Maybe I should pull back a little bit, but I don't fucking know. Yeah, I mean, it is really nice. Like, it's really, really nice. Like, whenever guys have qualms with each other, you just, like, you both of you don't even desire the conflict at all. And so you just, like, hey, dude, sorry about being fucking shitty. And you're like, nah, dude, I was shitty too. All right, sweet. Let's go fucking take a shower together. You know what I mean? Like, it's just silly. Emmy B with a 5 says, it's my 28th birthday and I actually feel like I have a purpose this birthday. Taking my fiance's kids under my wing, best birthday. Oh, that sounds awesome. Well, congratulations to taking them under the wing, and everybody, happy birthday, Emmy B. Happy birthday to thee. Happy birthday, I have to pee.
Hey, listen.
Happy birthday, it tastes sweet. And happy birthday. You're just gonna be watching some anime on your birthday? Hey, nothing wrong with that. Alex is the imposter. Dudes, well, I mean, look at this. Like, this was fucking weird. Like, I mean, sure, those guys were being creeps, but like, I'm not gonna go get a fucking bottle smashed over my head because some dude pinched some chick's butt. Like, that's not what that's not my plan for the evening. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And I guess it's like, you know, it kind of like looks like the 80s movies, like, hey, bro, leave her alone, all right? You know, like, but like, I would imagine that the other parties would be just as capable of like saying like, hey, why don't you guys just get in one of these tuk-tuks and get the fuck out of here because these guys are creeps, you know what I mean? Like, I think it sounds a lot more logical. Hannah, you're exhausted. Or is that Dana? I can't tell. Hannah likes pinching butts. Fucking pinching like both cheeks together and just being like, try and poop, I dare you. You're not gonna be able to. It's like reaching out from the toilet up to the cheeks. Oh yeah, hit that like button, guys, and click share. The story did have an 80s vibe. Sarah, thanks. You freaking turd. Turd pincher. Yeah, butts were evolutionarily designed by God to be pinched. I didn't even speak enough Sinhala to be able to properly ask where any of the wounded were headed. I was a lost, frightened boy in a place I didn't belong, and I'd never felt so alone in my whole life. In the end, it turns out that Lassie got lucky. None of the glass had made its way into his eye, and he had somehow avoided any kind of skull fracture from the impact of his huge wooden stick, not his. Blow my ears out. I don't know why these guys would put their safety on the line. I mean, obviously, honestly, I think it sounds as if though these guys probably had some sort of like underpinning hatred towards these, rich kids or whatever. But honestly, no matter how much pride you have or like hatred, or maybe you feel that someone doesn't have the appropriate amount of valor, fighting is just fucking the worst decision you could make, unless it's like actually in self-defense. And the reason I say that is because you're going to end up with fucking glass in your eyeball, even though this guy got lucky and didn't. Don't be mean to each other in chat, please. No mean comments. No mean. Everybody stop the mean. We do no mean here. We be nice. Okay. I didn't even... Fuck, he was a lonely boy. Oh, yeah. In the end, it turns out that Lassie got lucky. None of the glass had made its way into his eye, and he had somehow avoided any kind of skull fracture from the impact of the huge wooden sticks. The doctors were able to remove some of the larger glass chunks from his face, but he would be left permanently scarred. One of his friends, however, the guy called Dinesh, was not so lucky. He had been stabbed in the throat with a piece of broken bottle and lost so much blood that it took him 3 days to wake up in the hospital. The events of that night consumed the last few days of my trip in Sri Lanka, discussing how it went down, talking about wounds and recovery times. I felt guilty for having gotten off so slightly, and I thought my new Sri Lankan friends might resent me for having escaped worse injuries. But the friendship wasn't soured. Quite the opposite, in fact. It was only strengthened by what happened that night. Me and Lassie still keep in touch. He ended up marrying a Swedish girl and moving over to Sweden with her, and they have a little girl together now. Occasionally, we reminisce about that night, and he thanks me for saving him, but I don't think I did anything of the sort. I just regret not doing more to defend him. Violence is a strange thing. Despite its capacity to destroy, it forms bonds between people that can never be broken. But still, I hope I never have to go through anything similar to what happened that night ever again, because next time, I might not be so lucky.
Hey, listen.
Diary of a Lesbian Gamer with the $3 says, my hero. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the 3. And Bennikins with the 2 says, Joel Pradip defends your honor daily like a sir. He is a full-on sir. He is. I've seen when I was fixing my bed that was crushed by my large friends before, and whenever I had the mattress like flipped and was like under the bed, Pradeep is always the first one to find the spiders and take them out. So I'm sure that there's probably like hordes and hordes of arachnids coming at me every night that I have no idea that Pradeep is just fending off. He is most active then. Maybe that's what's happening with the zoomies. He's going back and forth. Just like a tower defense game. Dollar store bleach. Like to drink? Zach Miller, thanks, dude. Okay. Now, On to story 2. That took a while, didn't it? Your small, medium, and combo size friends. They're very large boys. They have very strong gravitational pull to Earth. And they destroy my bed when they fucking jump on it like a bunch of apes. You found some hatched spider eggs in your room not too long ago. That's fun. This is fine. Honestly, well, there are a lot of scary spiders, I'm sure, mainly in Australia. But, you know, spiders are a good thing because they will kill quite a bit of other insectual life that may otherwise be sort of invasive. So, praise be to the spideys that sit outside your door near the lamp light. Used to get great value generic Walmart brand lavender scented. Lol, it smells like the bleach though. Lol, low splash bleach. Oh, interesting. Yeah, spiders are scary. I wouldn't. I've seen people have spider pets, and I'm like, what are you doing? What is up with that? Oh, they made you keep the good spiders alive in Australia to kill the bad things. Shit. That's interesting. I'm a dog person. A serious dog person. I'm that girl who stops in the street to talk to dogs in a weird cartoon voice, asking them how their day was, stroking their little floofs and calling them chunky boys. I get some weird looks from their owners sometimes, but I don't mind. It's worth it, as it never ever fails to brighten my day. But one thing I've learned is that there's a huge, huge difference in the way we treat animals here in America, probably European countries too, and how they treat animals in the rest of the world. And it's not just people's attitude towards animals that differs either, it's the animals' attitudes towards people too. I've never, ever met a bad dog here in Florida. Like, I'm sure they're out there, but I've always been fortunate enough to never have to run into one. But I can't say the same for when I was in Thailand. And this might not seem like a straight-up horror story, but it was legit one of the scariest episodes in my entire life. So I was doing some solo traveling around Southeast Asia just after I graduated from college. It was always a dream of mine to see that area of the world, and I was lucky enough to have my mom and dad pay for flights as a graduation present. I didn't even have to save up that much spending money because the US dollar goes a long way in places like that, so I was able to stay for quite a while without worrying too much about finances. Like, seriously, you can get a decent bowl of pad thai for like 30 baht in some places, which, if I remember right, is just less than $1. Anyway, I spent a good deal of time exploring the more metropolitan and tourist places like Bangkok and Chiang Mai, so at one point I decided to get off the beaten path and explore a little more of rural Thailand. It was so beautiful, and people in the smaller villages, Florida dog, yeah, we got Florida man and we got Florida dog stories incoming. What's scarier, diving with sharks or camping with brown bears? Fuck, man, that's a good question. I would probably say camping with yeah, like if you meant grizzly bears, probably camping with grizzly bears. I'm not sure how brown bears get, though. I think brown bears are territorial as well, but not quite the same as fucking grizzlies, dude. Jesus Christ. But yeah, oh god. I'm still like haunted by this like audio of these people, this couple that like were fucking monitoring grizzly bears and like living with them, and then there's just like this audio of them being like eaten a fucking live, and you can hear it, and you know they trusted these bears and they thought that like shit was gonna be fine, and then randomly the bears were like, oh yeah, those people were food, I fucking forgot. And then it's like horrifying audio. I suggest no one ever listen to it. Horrifying audio. was so beautiful, and people in the smaller villages might be poor, but they are so very, very friendly and welcoming. Plus, if you think the food in the cities is good, just try going out to the countryside where you'll find home-cooked meals that have been perfected over generations. That stuff is absolutely mind-blowing. Only this one day in question, I'm walking from village to village on this lonesome dirt road when I see a pack of dogs come out from the bushes at the side of the road. Me being me, I'm absolutely overjoyed to see this group of like 4 or 5 doggos appear out of nowhere, like they were a gift from God sent to brighten up what had been a pretty tiring trek at that point. So I basically start squealing like a mad thing, pull out my phone, and start taking pictures of the dogs with a view to getting some selfies with them. But pretty much as soon as I approach, they start growling. Like this instant hostility came out of them, which I was totally not expecting. And not just like low growls telling me to go away. They're baring their teeth at me, barking furiously, like I'd never experienced that kind of hostility from a dog in the States before. A little barking at first, sure, but they always calm down when you show them you don't mean any harm. I just start backing away slowly, hands up with flat palms to be like, "Sorry, puppers, I wasn't here to bother you guys anymore." Then, when I've got a fairly safe distance away from them, I turn my back and start walking away properly. Only, I can still hear them barking and growling a short distance behind me, and when I look over my shoulder, I actually see that the pack of dogs is following me, trailing me on the dirt road and getting closer all the time. That's when I start actually getting scared. First, I was just nervous and a little shocked that such good boys and girls could be so aggressive, and I was more than willing to just leave them alone. But now it seemed like they weren't quite willing to return the favor in that respect. Then before I knew it, I heard one of them growling really close behind me. They were testing the limits, seeing how close they could get before I did anything. I turned and shouted at them to leave me alone, clapping my hands and making random noises in the hopes that it might scare them off. It did at first. They backed off a little, but it didn't last long. I tried to keep walking, but 2 approached from the rear that time, and I caught one actually trying to bite at the backs of my exposed legs. I was so scared by that point I was almost in tears, and I started the same routine of shouting and clapping at them to get them to back off, but they seemed to just know that I didn't have it in me to just straight up hit them, and each minute that went by, they got more and more bold. I tried walking off once more, but they were on me pretty much as soon as my back was turned. That's when I started running, just sprinting off down that dirt road in the hopes of finding some way to escape them. Then out of nowhere, I feel the teeth of one of the dogs rip at the flesh of one of my calves. The pain shot through me like fire, and I knew it was bad enough of a bite to make me bleed. There's just this cacophony of barks behind me when I see this little house at the side of the road, and I start screaming for help while running towards it, feeling the dobbies. Feeling the dogs. There's this cacophony. Okay. Whoops. Oh. Your cable went kersplat, so YouTube is a lifesaver. Oh, shit. There's just this cacophony of barks behind me when I see this little house at the side of the road, and I start screaming for help while running towards it, feeling the dogs nipping at my heels the whole way. I was only a few feet away when this Thai guy comes out of the front yard with a stick in his hand, obviously having heard the barks and yelps as well as my cries for help. He just rushes towards me, skips around and starts wailing on the dogs behind me with a stick. I mean, really brutally beating them and shouting at them in Thai. That did the trick. They were yelping and running away with their tails between their legs just a few seconds later, and I found myself collapsing in the dirt with relief, checking the backs of my legs for wounds as I just sobbed. I knew the bite was bad the moment I felt it, but it was only when I actually saw how bad I was bleeding that I started to panic. They were wild dogs, so they could have all kinds of diseases that were passed on through their saliva, and I was seriously panicking about it, begging the Thai guy to take me to a hospital nearby. I don't think he really spoke much English, but we didn't need any kind of mutual language to know what it was that I needed. The next thing I know, I'm hearing a motorcycle engine starting up, and the guy drives out into the road, handing me a spare helmet before helping me clamber onto the back of his bike. I don't know how long the ride to the hospital really was, but it felt like hours, and by the time we arrived there, my leg was so swollen I could hardly put any weight on it at all. Not many of the staff there spoke English. Not many of the staff. Dogs much warmer than cats. This is true. But if you get enough cats, you can turn them into a significant other. I remember this really funny guy when I used to work at the hospital would say that, like, he was like, "Don't worry, Chelsea, you'll get a girlfriend." Or a boy, sorry, don't worry, like talking to the one girl from where he's like, "Don't worry, Chelsea, you'll get a boyfriend. You'll just buy enough cats until eventually you can sew them together as a boyfriend." And I always laughed really hard at that. Red Hot Freezer, yeah, thanks for hanging out. Not many of the staff there. Dude, I did it again, the staff. I must have a lisp. Not many of the staff there spoke English, so I was really, really lucky that I had the Thai guy drive me there. I tried to give him some gas money as a thank you, but he actually straight up refused it. This might sound super first world of me, but that just blew my mind. This guy seemed really, really poor, but still he wouldn't take any money. I'm assuming just because he knew it was the right thing to do. Luckily, I had a rabies vaccination before I went traveling, so after the initial treatment, I only had to go back to the hospital once more in order to get the other shot I needed, instead of going through the agony of having like 4 different shots over the course of a month. I mean, I heard you even have to get one of them in your stomach with this big needle. Whether or not that's true, I'm not actually sure, but it's still absolutely terrifying. But the actual effects of contracting rabies make all that seem like child's play. Here, I took this from a website that describes what happens in the first... Oh, I see. Your ghost has a ghost. You're your ghost's ghost. Ariel, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Cat husband brings home his kill and doesn't cheat. He's a good husband. This is true. Let's Read is your ghost host. Hello, everyone. I'm your host with the most. And I'm starting to smell toast. Here I took this from, okay, I see. But the actual effects of contracting rabies make all that seem like child's play. Here, I took this from a website that describes what happens in the first week or so of contracting the rabies virus. Confusion or aggressive behavior, seeing or hearing things, hallucinations, producing lots of saliva or frothing at the mouth, muscle spasms, difficulty swallowing and breathing, inability to move, paralysis. Once symptoms appears, rabies is almost always fatal. I mean, what kind of evil supervirus can turn someone aggressive like that? It's like something out of a zombie movie. And one so powerful that even with being vaccinated beforehand, you still need shots after a bite to ensure you don't get the disease. So, I hope you all understand why I was so completely terrified of getting such a disease after those dog bites. I know I was vaccinated, and I thank God that Thai guy drove me to a hospital as quick as he could, but all that was in my mind as we were on their way. But all that was in my mind as we were on the way there was... Wait, what the fuck? Strawberry flavored stuff? You don't want to be horny anymore, you want to be happy, don't we all? When the horny takes over, you can't escape it. I know I was vaccinated, and thank God that Thai guy drove me to a hospital as quick as he could, but all that was in my mind as we were on the way there was the fear of getting such a horrific, brutal, and fatal disease. I appreciate that this might not be as scary as people who say they saw ghosts at temples or whatever. I understand there must have been absolute Oh, what the fuck? I don't know why I'm struggling with this fucking end of the story. It's just like a bunch of rambling. I'm looking like a real thickeroni and cheese. Thank you. Saw Old Yeller in 7th grade. Yeah, I remember like we watched was it Air Bud, and Air Bud like whenever his like I don't know they had to get rid of him for some reason, and so he just like took him out. It was really random. Took him out to like this random like island. I don't even know where, and was just go away, go, just go. And the dog was like, "What the fuck, dude? I've been on your basketball team, dude. You know for." The past couple weeks. Was you just gonna like am I cut? Did I not make the cut? When all the dog wanted was just a bunch of snack packs. I appreciate this might not be as scary as people who say they saw ghosts at temples or whatever. I understand that must have been absolutely terrifying. But getting bit by that dog was something so tangibly scary that it definitely ranks as the most terrifying thing that happened to me while I was traveling around Southeast Asia. I did it, baby, I did it. I read the story. Air Bud. Yeah, Air Bud. I remember being in elementary school and there was this one kid, Martin, who started crying because I don't know, we were watching this fucking movie about cheetahs or some shit, and I think the cheetah got to compete in dog racing, you know, and of course the cheetah was from like, you know, the lower, you know, the poor community trope of, you know, going off against the rich community, the evil rich people who had their like racing dogs and shit, and like and I don't know what the fuck happened, but like I think I think he just like they reconnected the cheetah with his fucking mom or some shit at the end, and they got to go do cheetah shit out in the wild, you know. And then I was like, oh cool, happy ending. But the kid was crying next to me, and I was like, oh, this is so funny. I'll never forget this.
Hey, listen.
Venikins art with the 2 says, what's worse, sharks, bears, bees? Summoned by ass claps. Oh my god. Ass claps summons the bees. I don't even remember what Pooh Bear says. Ho ho ho. Oh bother. Oh bother. Oh yeah. I'm dummy thick. And the clap of my ass cheeks summons the bees. Pradeep wants out. Let me let him out real quick. He's fucking crazy nuts. Crazy nuts. I was kind of thinking, like, if I got a dog and a dog wanted out during like a stream, I can't just let him out of my room to go shit in a box, you know what I mean? I would have to be like, oh shit guys, let me go take my dog out to piss and shit. I guess I would just do it beforehand. Presumably he would do it. I'm banned in China, yeah. I think we're all banned. China. 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 Alright, so this one seems to take place in India. Cool. Okay. I'm going to take you back to the early 90s for this, just after I did my A-level exams here in the UK. I got the grades I wanted, which was brilliant, but on the advice of my parents, I decided to take a gap year and do some traveling before I settled down to study at Manchester University. A few of my mates had made the decision to buy these Europass railcard things that they could catch trains all around Europe on, but that seemed a little too tame for me. I had my sights set on somewhere far more exotic. India. I could only afford to go because I worked my butt off at Marks and Spencer's every weekend for almost 2 years straight, spending very little of that money as I strove to save as much as I could. Being on a 16-hour flight almost drove me mental, and I couldn't wait to land in Debolim. I assume it's Debolim. I don't know how to say this shit. Debolim. Maybe the dog will have a cat personality. I hope so. Me hopes. Me hope so. Puppy pads. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's a good idea. I guess I should just take him out before the stream, even though he doesn't exist, and I don't have this hypothetical place. But I'm glad that we're figuring it out, though, ahead of time, so I don't find myself in a bit of a shindangle. Alright, how the fuck do you say this? It's Debolim? Debolim? Pronunciation. Okay. Goa. What's all this Goa place? Is that like... Goa.
Dabolim.
That doesn't sound right.
Dabolim.
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 Okay, that sounded like a human voice. Dabolim. Dabolim. You ate too much birthday food and now you feel sick. Good. That's how you know you're full when you're ready to die. China is banned in China. Train the dog to use the toilet and flush. That's true. That's their next evolutionary step. Being on a 16-hour flight almost drove me mental, and I couldn't wait to land in Dabolim, so I could get to relaxing and exploring. But no such joy. That sounded fucking weird, sorry. Why do I sound like a goddamn robot sometimes? I don't know what the fuck's wrong with my... I am a robot. Did you guys not know that I was made of components and circuit boards? And my horny juices are overflowing. They need to be evacuated immediately. Okay. Pronouns. I just listened to it, but I can't remember because all I can hear is that other dude. Dabolim. Pet rabbits. Yeah, my friend has a pet rabbit. She loves it, and it seems pretty nice, but there's like a weird... I don't know. Once again, I feel like I can't, like... When I look at a rabbit, I feel like it's... There's a strange disconnect, I feel, but I'm sure you get used to it.
Dabolim.
Dabolim. Okay, cool. Cool. Nat, thank you. It's interesting to listen to your normal conversation voice. I like it. Thank you. Joel has become an android. I am a robot. Being on a 16-hour flight almost drove me mental, and I couldn't wait to land in Dabolim so I could get to relaxing and exploring. But no such luck. Despite being one of India's sleepier states, Goa proved to be just as mental. To 18-year-old me, the nearest city, Vasco da Gama, might as well have been another planet. I was from some quiet little Manchester suburb, and then there I was in the old Portuguese colonial capital, and it was honestly mind-blowing. After taking some time to adjust to my surroundings, not to mention having to get over a really bad case of gastroenteritis, I ended up making my way down to a place called Kerala, on Indians fuck. Yeah, that's Grandma's saying, that's how you know you're full, you're ready to die. What if that was how a grandma killed you? She's like, I will fill you up till you burst. Oh my lord. You've gotten a rabbit bite, but it wasn't full on chomp so much as an over enthusiastic lick. Ah, interesting. You tasted good to him or her. I was from some quiet little Manchester suburb, and then there I was in the old Portuguese colonial capital, and it was honestly mind-blowing. After taking some time to adjust to my surroundings, not to mention having to get over a really bad of gastroenteritis, I ended up making my way down to a place called Kerala on India's southernmost coast. It was pretty wild, as far as from the Indian capital as it was possible to get. What the fuck? It was a pretty wild place, as far as from the Indian capital as it was possible to get, and it's also the place where my story occurs. So once I had a little bit of Hindi under my belt and could generally make myself understood, I decided to do some actual exploring, adventure tourism as you might call it, really getting away from the old tourist trails to see parts of India that other people generally didn't. That's how I ended up in the middle of nowhere, about 20 miles outside of the city of Kollam. That's how I ended up in the middle of nowhere, about 20 miles outside of the city of Kollam. I was wandering around the countryside trying to find an ancient temple known as Mundayar. Fuck, dude. How the hell you say this shit? It's called Mundayar Mahadeva Temple. Mundayar Mahadeva. That sounds kind of sweet. It sounds pretty, correct, but I don't know if that's correct. Correct? Let's see. Oh. Weird. What the fuck? Okay, visiting the world's largest Shiva temple.
Namaste from Bangalore, India. I've been in Bangalore for a few days. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see much of the city because
I shouldn't be
I've been
laughing,
sick.
Liz.
I'm gonna go to the Shiva temple, which I've been dying to see since I've been here. And there's a 65-foot statue of Lord Shiva that, from photos, just looks incredible. I can't.
Cool. All right. Anyways, I'm just gonna go with my made-up pronunciation. Oh, it's pronounced Mo Squawk on Moon. Thank you, Hawk. Very helpful. Did I notice they have 666k subs right now? I thought it was. Whoa, really? Holy shit, dude. Does that mean? Am I the devil? Did the live just started? It did not just started. We are about 2 hours in, and I fucked up the first 20 minutes with. Well, I didn't do it. The internet gods fucked it up with the disconnection issue, but we probably still have like another hour to go. Hannah, you're funny. All right. I was wandering around the countryside trying to find an ancient temple known as Mundayar Mahadeva Temple. Mundayar. I'm just gonna wing it. We're winging it, baby. We're winging it. Wingity wing wing ding ding ding. I was wandering around the countryside trying to find an ancient temple known as Mundayar Mahadeva Temple. Don't ask me why I was trying to find it. I think I was on some kind of personal spiritual journey, whatever that means, but I was a daft teenager. I know I was, and I figured that spending time in these little places would bring me some kind of spiritual or emotional enlightenment. So at one point, I got a wee bit lost, and under the baking Indian sun, I started to get extremely thirsty. I spy this little village across an open set of grasslands, so I start wandering across it, completely and utterly ignorant of the kinds of dangers that could be lurking in the long grass. If I'd have known what I'd run into, I swear I'd have just kept walking. Thirst can't kill you nearly as quickly as what came out of the long grass and stared me in the face. Out of absolutely nowhere, coming out of the grass right in the direction I was walking, rises up the biggest snake I'd ever seen in my life. Not just any old snake either. It was a cobra, a king cobra, and I could honestly instantly tell from the distinctive hood and the black and white markings below its head. It was like seeing an alien or something. To this day, I've never felt fear like that, seeing something so utterly deadly looking, so different from any kind of animal we have in the UK. It was like a shard of ice just drove its way through my intestines. When something like that happens, and you're not used to seeing cobras or snakes in general, it's like something deep and primal happens to your body. In the initial moments after seeing it, and I know this sounds mental, but it was like all my ancestors were screaming at me, that thing's gonna kill you, and it's gonna kill you fast. The lessons of hundreds of thousands of snake-bitten souls passed through my DNA or something. Like I'm trying my best to describe the intensity of the fear and still think none of this even comes close. The way it hissed, too. Jesus Christ, it was like seeing a mythical creature or something. Like I knew these things existed, but seeing one that close up, knowing it was in striking distance, I went looking for a religious experience that afternoon, and I found one. Only it wasn't God I found in rural Kerala. Fuck. Mandir. It's just Mandir. That's a really long way to go back. It's alright. I'll deal with the comments. It's so fucking hard to like... And not Shiva. Alright, Cherry. You're in charge, my friend. Tell me how to fucking say this word. How do you say it? So nobody in the comments blasts me for being an uncultured swine. Shiva. It's not Shiva. Well, I didn't say Shiva. It's Mundayurmahadeva. Mandir Mahadeva. That's what it looks like. Shia. It's a Shia pet. Yeah, I just need to... This person's telling me they know the pronunciation, but I need their confirmation. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep moving. It doesn't help me to tell me what it is not. It helps me more to tell me what it is. Yep, ulterior. What? Alright, whatever. I'm just gonna keep reading where I was. I don't really care that much. Cha-cha-chia, pet. Like, if you want to tell me how to pronounce it, I would love to pronounce it the correct way, but if nobody has the answer, I will plead ignorance till the day I die. Like, I knew these things existed, but seeing it close up, knowing what it was, striking distance, Shiva. No, that's not how it's fucking spelled, my dude. How dare you not know every language ever? Like, I knew these things existed, but seeing one that close up, knowing it was in striking distance, I went from looking for a religious experience that afternoon, and I found one. Only it wasn't God I found in rural Kerala. It was the devil, and I was staring it in the face. Then, as absolutely crazy as this sounds, the king cobra just sort of explodes in front of me. Like its hood just sort of ripped open, and I saw this little spray of fluid before it collapsed back in the grass. I'm still just about peeing my... Shiva. Bro, that's not how you spell it, dude. Where the fuck was it? Where is it? I feel like I'm getting trolled. I can't even find the fucking word, or the place, or the thing. Looking for a temple. I mean, it's definitely not just Shiva, you know what I mean? Like, the spelling of it is like 30 more. Oh, what I said was correct? Oh, what the fuck? What? Where am I? Who am I? I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. He's not... No, it's okay. Anyways, moving on. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Double sorry. Canadian sorry. Frank's horny and high. Nice, dude. Cheyenne Dory Bought with the 5 says, I bought a candy apple covered in shredded coconut. It's so delicious. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Nice. I remember, isn't candy apples like, aren't they the ones that you like bite into and could potentially like rip your teeth out or something? You know what I'm saying? But thank you for the 5. I sound like Toonami. Nice, dude. Dude, I have no, like I said, people have asked me about doing voiceovers. I have no idea where to go, how to like do voiceovers. Like, I would have to like figure out how to act. I think I could figure out how to act. I know that sounds kind of like ignorant, but I think I could figure it out. Like if I tried hard enough and like practice it. But like, dude, it would be so fucking cool to be the Toonami voice, like the little guy walking around like, hey everybody, it's fucking me, Toonami guy. We're about to watch some DBZ tonight. Who's ready to look at some anime titties? Ha 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 ha. I remember there was this one time in Toonami, because I was like OG Toonami days back in like 2000, 5th grade is how old I was then. In the year 2000. Look up voice acting casting calls. What if I ended up on a couch naked? I'm gonna blame you, princess. But email my mixtape. Yo. But it was cool because the Toonami guy that ran Toonami, like the little astronaut, I think he was like a taller dude. And then they would have these like little running like storylines going on where, hey Mari, thank you. Or Mary, I don't know how to pronounce that. But like, I don't know, something happened to him where his ship was invaded or something and he died. And like, and then he became a little alien man. Or maybe he went from little alien man to big alien man, or astronaut man. Do you guys remember that? Stop being younger than me. Am I younger than you? I'm not younger than most people here. Inuyasha. Yeah, Inuyasha was one of those shows that I didn't get to watch that much, but it was because back when Toonami was popular when I was younger, it was on, basically you get home, it was Dragon Ball Z. I had to fucking get home quick if I wanted to see Dragon Ball Z. And then I always end up having to watch like Gundam Wing or some shit. And Gundam Wing, like, I don't know, like as a kid trying to follow like a bunch of like strange expositional conversations about like, you know, future Japanese politics and stuff like that, I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I hate Gundam Wing, you know. Dragon Ball Z had some like a lot of dialogue, but I felt like it was pretty entertaining. Oh, we got a bunch of donations here. Lils with the 5 says, I'll watch anything you voice over. Thank you, Lils. And Karen Medina with the 5 says, I love your live streams. They feel like an escape from the horrible reality of life at the moment. Or is it, maybe ATM means ass to mouth. I don't quite know, but thank you, Karen. I will help you escape this reality. Follow me down the rabbit hole. Follow me down my hole. Venikins with the 2 says, have you ever seen Riki Tiki Tavi, Weasel versus Snake? Oh, that sounds so familiar, but I don't. Was it like a meme kind of thing? Like they voiced over a weasel versus a snake thing? Because that sounds so familiar. Alexis Lloyd with 3 says, it's my birthday. Happy birthday, Alex. We got a bunch of birthdays in here tonight, which is pretty sweet. Big birthday bash. The big birthday bash. It's a big old birthday bashy. Big birthday booted, big old birthday booty bash. The tongue twister. The Big Birthday Booty Bash by Dr. Seuss. You thought ATM meant at the moment? Nah, it means ass to mouth. Okay. I'm still just about peeing my pants when I see these two Indian lads running through the open towards me, and one of them has like this pipe in his hand. I had absolutely no idea what had just happened, and they start talking to me in, oh fuck, Malayalam. What is this? So this is a language. We figured that out.
Malayalam.
Oh, look, I said it right. Malayalam. LC, thank you. You had a scary Mormon. Huh, usually Mormons don't do that. The local language which... Okay, yeah. I had absolutely no idea what had just happened, and they start talking to me in Malay. I had absolutely no idea what just happened, and they start talking to me in Malayalam, the local language which I didn't understand at all. I tried speaking my terrible Hindi, but I could barely remember any, and even when I managed to get the words out, they just shook their heads to tell me they barely spoke any of that. But they did understand one word. I wonder how you say it. It's thank you in Hindi. Hanyabad? Danyabad? Maybe Danyabad. Let's see. Maybe it's Danyavad. 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 Dr. Phil's not a real doctor? What? What? That's not true. He used to do physicals on me every year. Okay. Danyabad. But they did understand one word. Danyabad. Thank you. Like I said, I had no idea what happened with that cobra, only that the Indian lads had something to do with it. That's when I noticed exactly what one of the lads had in their hand. It was a bloody homemade rifle. From what I could tell, it had a pretty basic firing mechanism and was breech-loaded like an old Napoleonic war musket or something. It looked all sorts of dodgy, like that thing could have actually just blown up in his face at any time, but in the moment, I didn't give a monkey's bottom what he had in his hand. All I knew was that I was pretty sure that he just saved my life with it. They ended up walking me back to their village and giving me some well water, and I stuck around long enough to try one of their mom's rice and dal. I never ended up finding that temple, but I accidentally had one of the best experiences I had whilst traveling around India, getting to stay in a tiny village and live life like a rural Indian for a day before I walked back to the train station to catch the train back to Kalam. And like I said, I didn't need to find that temple to have a kind of spiritual experience. Staring death in the eyes for a moment was all I needed to give me a new and bold appreciation for life in general. I'd recommend anyone get out to India if they can, but I definitely recommend against walking in tall grass because cobras aren't the only thing lurking in it that'll seriously ruin your day. Those weren't physicals? What the hell? Fucking Dr. Phil did me dirty, dog. Dr. Phil, I'm a doll. I'm not a real person. You miss getting your testes cupped. Yeah, that was a interesting experience. And it was funny because you could tell it was like interesting for the you could tell it was interesting for the doctors too, you know. Bras can tell you. Okay, we got 2 more storyboards here. Thank God Brab is here. Lila can go get off shift. Thank you, Cherry. Dr. Phil recommends, yeah. Don't listen to Brab. Thanks, Jade. You're welcome. Steve, I think it's kind of bullshit that they don't, you know. I feel like that would, if I was a doctor, that'd be my number one priority. We'd have to do it every patient. Even if they don't have them, to be cupped. We'll cup something. Squawk. Alright. Thank God Brab is here to be Bras. To be oh so useful. What's up, Justin? What's poppin'? Thank God you can't post GIFs in here. That would be a nutball mode. On the 23rd of June of the year 200. What? The year 200? Did they forget a zero? Have I made a video about Alicia Kozak's story? I don't think so. What's that about? You love my chills impression. Impression. You're here for an eye exam. We were playing Cards Against Humanity, and I just love the card where it was like, rip your balls off and rip your eyes out and stick your balls where your eyes go and your eyes where your balls go. Which was funny because they stole that joke. You know, it's not like a wildly original joke or anything like that. Because I'm sure, like, I don't know, Attila the Hun probably did it to people, but I remember they said about, like, ripping your balls off and ripping your eyeballs out and putting your balls where your eyes go and your eyeballs where your balls go. And it was in, you know, Tenacious D, Pick a Destiny. And it's fucking really funny, dude. Also, when I saw the movie, and in the beginning, you know, the cartoon versions of them come in and they, like, smoke weed, and it said, like, the audience is baking. I like, my 16-year-old self did not know what that meant. Like, the audience is baking? What? Is it hot in here? Like, what's the deal? Venikins with a 5 says, it's a Chuck Jones cartoon adaptation from a child book, like Jungle Book from the old school Warner Bros. Also did Tom and Jerry and Grinch Who Stole My Christmas. Wait, what were we talking about? Oh, the Riki Tiki shit. Or wait. Dude, those Chuck Jones cartoons are fucking cool, man. I watched so many of those on, and I think the only reason the Cartoon Network had them on was because, like, the Jesus, the like, I think they were just, like, you know, Cartoon Network was just starting up, and they needed a bunch of filler, you know, so they had, like, all of these old ass classic cartoons. But I watched them nonstop, man. Dr. Phil had Bam Margera on. It was really funny. If you can look that up and watch that at some point. I don't know. The motherfucker's like 40 and he just acts like a little kid. It's weird. Everybody steals jokes from Attila the Hun. Every joke Dave Chappelle ever did was the Hun guy. Dude, I know. I've been saying that. I was like, dude, Attila the Hun said that, man. About, like, the homeless guy jerking off on the bus and holding people hostage, dude. That's fucking Attila. It's in his manuscripts. Impersonate Mickey the Mouse. There was one guy in our server, Tim, who could do a pretty good Mickey the Mouse impression. Bam went crazy. Yeah. I guess maybe I'm being mean. But I like being mean. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I imagine the death of Ryan Dunny Boy. Man, those are some cool dudes, man. Well, mainly Wild Boys. If you guys remember the show Wild Boys, I fucking love that show. And Pontius and Steve-O were so much fun to watch together. I smoke rock. Goddamn, Joe Rogan. On the 23rd of June of the year 2000, at around 1 o'clock in the morning, a guest at Childers Palace Backpackers Hostel in Queensland, Australia, found themselves stirring from their sleep. Bleary-eyed and confused, they were initially annoyed that they could hear some kind of banging sound coming from the hall outside, and wondered just who could be inconsiderate enough to make so much noise in the middle of the night. But as they sat up in bed, they detected the scent of something distinct in the air around them, what might have been comforting if they had known that there were log fireplaces present in the hostel. Only there weren't, and the smell of burning wood was accompanied by thick black smoke trickling into the room from the crack underneath the doorframe. As the guest threw himself out of bed and shook awake his girlfriend who was sleeping in the bottom bunk, the realization only really hit him as the words passed his lips. Get up, the hostel's on fire." But as the pair attempted to escape the building, crawling on their hands and knees to avoid inhaling the deadly black smoke, they pounded on the doors of their neighbors in an attempt to save as many lives as they could. There were no fire alarms blaring to warn the guests that anything was wrong. Guests were only roused from their sleep by the warnings of others, and for some of them, those warnings came far too late. It was later reported that the hostel's owner had actually installed fire alarms in the building, but they had all been deactivated in the weeks prior to the fire due to the system's malfunctioning, which had caused numerous false alarms. To compensate, the hostel's owners had placed fire notes on the walls of the building, which showed the best escape route, and it was these that allowed the surviving guests to navigate their way out of the burning building. But the Palace Backpackers Hostel was a 100-year-old two-story timber building, and the fire spread through the old wooden structure with terrifying speed. The guest and his girlfriend fought their way out onto a first-floor balcony, and luckily it was not too high of a jump, so they leapt to safety on the ground below, tucking and rolling as they landed to ensure that they were not injured in the fall. They found their feet and looked back onto the chaotic scene behind them. Those that couldn't fight their way down to the ground floor exits were forced to leap from balconies and windows onto the roofs of neighboring buildings. Some were too weak to make the jumps and landed in heaps of broken bones. Their screams of pain only added to the frenzy of flame and smoke. Around 70 backpackers managed to escape the hostel that night, with only 10 of them suffering minor burns. The final escapees only managed to do so by the swift arrival of the local fire department, who raised ladders to the top floors in order for those trapped by the flames to climb down. However, 15 backpackers from all over the world were not so lucky. Immediately after the fire, residents of the local town of Childers donated food, blankets, and backpacks to the survivors. A picnic bench in front of the building became something of a shrine to those lost in the fire, complete with flowers, heartfelt letters from those that survived, and fruit from the local farms. 20 of the survivors returned a few days later to hold an impromptu memorial service with a local Catholic priest at the shrine. The service was broadcast all over the world and made a huge impact in the news media. So much so that Princess Anne of the British royal family visited Childers on the 2nd of July, just a week after the blaze, to offer emotional support for the surviving backpackers and others involved in the disaster. The surviving backpackers were taken to a nearby cultural center that had the facilities to accommodate them, where they were subsequently questioned by local firefighters as to how the blaze could have started. Many of the survivors told them that they had simply woken up in the middle of the chaos and had no idea how the fire could have started. There were no exposed flames, no candles or fireplaces in the entire hostel. But one survivor came forward with information regarding a strange figure who had been hanging around outside in the wee small hours of the morning, shortly before the flames ripped through the building. The guest told firefighters how he had woken up just after midnight to use the bathroom, when they had seen somebody standing outside by a burning trash can. After noticing that they were being watched, the figure extinguished the fire and the guest went back to bed, only to be awakened again about an hour later to banging, shouting, and black smoke. The investigation quickly shifted from focusing on an accidental fire to one of deliberate arson, and guests were then questioned by the police regarding any unusual characters that had been hanging around the hostel. Many then mentioned an aggressive local fruit picker by the name of Robert Long, who had been involved in a couple of run-ins with his fellow guests and was said to have a general disdain for backpackers and tourists. Investigators also discovered that 38-year-old Long had recently been evicted from the hostel after falling behind on the rent, and had vowed some form of Fuck. I made it pretty far. Holy shit. I made it pretty far. Are we gonna hit 1,000? Who knows? Maybe if you click that like button and send it out to your grandma. Dude, imagine if we got like 40 more hot grandmas in here. I think we would be fucking set. The Discord link is broken. Yeah, one of the mods has to link that for you. Oh, there she goes. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. What if I just talk like this for the rest of the stream? Okay, guys. The investigators also discovered that the 38-year-old Long had recently been evicted from the hospital after falling behind on their rent. Okay. That's annoying, even me, so I'm going to stop. Did you ever annoy yourself? Investigators also discovered that 38-year-old Long had recently been evicted from the hostel after falling behind on the rent and had vowed some form of revenge against the owners, although it is assumed that it was all just blustering and that he didn't have it in him to actually seek retribution. Police then publicly announced that they wished to question Robert Long regarding with the involvement of the fire and asked the general public to come forward if they happen to know of his whereabouts. 5 days later, an anonymous caller quickly tipped off local authorities that Long was camped out in some bushland less than 20 miles from the town where the blaze took place. Police then drove out to the area, searching with a police dog until they found the suspect's arsonist campsite. The suspected arsonist campsite. You like it better? You like this voice better? I sound like Jenna Marbles. Guys, I'm canceling my YouTube channel. Poopy poop. Ariel, thank you. Have a good evening. You listened to a whole stream of that. You think he loves snakes? He's part of Jacka. Well, Bam, every time Bam did any of his stunts, he was always like the biggest baby of all of them. And he always did the weird stunts, like getting a penis branded on his butt, and then also getting like a dildo rammed up his butt. So that was kind of, I mean, it's whatever, you know. It's probably the ones that I'd do too, but Joel's getting nutty. Oh, I just nutted, bruh. Nutted live on stream. 4 hours of straight nutting. It's that 5-pound tub of peanut butter. How close am I to finishing that shit? I'm going to try to finish it tonight. You know, I would take a scoop of it. Oh, I wish you guys could smell this 5-pound tub of peanut butter. It's Old Skippy's. Old Skippy's peanut butter. Made with fucking chemicals and cum. Once you take a whiff, you get literally addicted because we put really strange compounds in it to make your body dependent upon our peanut butter. 5 pounds of it, in fact. Creamy. Creamy peanut butter. Absolutely jack full of preservatives, artificial flavors, and colors. It's rainbow, but mainly just from the oils. Literal oil that we found and tapped outside of my cousin Billy's home. Chemicals. That's funny. Okay, sorry. I think I'm going crazy. Lord, I think I lost my damn mind. Five days later, an anonymous caller quickly tipped off local authorities that Long was camped out in some bushland less than 20 miles from the town where the blaze took place. Police then drove out to the area, searching with a police dog until they found the suspected arsonist campsite. They approached the man, calmly asking if they could ask him a few questions surrounding the nature of the fire, as well as the threats he'd made against the hostel in the days prior. Long denied that he was there on the day of the fire, insisting that he had left the hostel on good terms and that the owners were trying to make some kind of scapegoat out of him. But this contradicted the stories of many of the survivors, and police then told Long he was going to be arrested on suspicion of arson. After hearing this, Long took out a knife and threatened the lives of the arresting officers. The police dog that accompanied them was then set on the suspect, but Long slashed the dog so badly that the dog retreated from him and collapsed into the dirt. The officers then followed up the dog attack, trying to subdue the knife-wielding arson suspect before he could manage to escape. One of the officers was stabbed in the chin during the arrest, and was extremely lucky that Long didn't find their jugular vein. It was then that the other officer took out their sidearm, took aim, and put a bullet into Long's shoulder to send him crashing to the ground, disarming him of the knife in the process. He then put handcuffs on the wounded suspect and dragged him to the waiting police car so he could be taken into custody. All the while, his colleague tried to wait. Can I boop Pradeep with your peanut butter hand? He might like it. I could see him freaking out if he has something stuck on his face. He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Because his little tongue can't get up that high. He ain't got a dog tongue. He ain't got a dog tongue, so he can't lick his nose and nothing. He's got one of them sandpaper to cat tongues. They don't feel good. They're cute, though. Alex had a horrible work night. I got hit in the head and got a whole tray of sodas dumped on my head and down my back. Were they hazing you? What the fuck were they doing to you? Oh my goodness. Soda shirt. Yeah, soda shirt is the worst. Did you have to work the rest of your shift in that soda shirt? Did you feel fizzy? All the while his colleague tried to tell them the bleeding from their... Wait, what the fuck? All while his colleague tried to them the bleeding from their own wound while comforting the injured police dog. Oh yeah, what kind of soda was it? That will determine whether it was a good night or bad night. All the while his colleague tried... Okay. All the while, his colleague tried... Alright, whatever. We'll just make up something. Okay, we'll make up something. Basically, he took out a lightsaber, okay? And he's got, fucking Jedi powers and shit, okay? Hopefully no one notices. All the while, his colleague tried to stop the bleeding from their own wound while comforting the injured police dog. Just less than 2 years later, in March of 2002, Robert Long was found guilty of 2 charges of murder and arson, and then sentenced to life in prison by a jury of his peers. The trial judge said Long should serve a minimum of 20 years in jail for his callous and cruel crime. Although 15 individuals died in the fire, Long had only been charged with 2 deaths in order to expedite the proceedings to allow for other charges to be brought in the event of an acquittal. Shockingly enough, and in the face of overwhelming evidence, Long actually insisted on his innocence and quickly lodged an appeal, which was thankfully swiftly denied. However, in June of this year, Long became eligible for parole, although there has been no news regarding any parole hearings or any subsequent release date being confirmed. As a tribute to those who lost their lives in such a senseless act of premeditated violence, Sydney artist Josiah Man, how the fuck do you say this name? Also, I don't know if I got the year right in the beginning because they said it took place in the year 200. So I'd have to look up what the year is, but I don't know if I can really edit it after the fact. I mean, I can, but it's a pain in the arse. Do you ever forget your kitty's in the room and he rubs in your leg and you have a mini heart attack? I do. That happens a lot, actually. Oh, okay. What the fuck? Oh, yeah. This chick's name. How the fuck do you say this chick's name? Blah, 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 blah. All the while, his colleague. Callous and cruel crime. Okay. Sydney artist Jasonia. Is that a name? Jasonia? And Jasonia Pilatus. Let me look that up. Jasonia top 6 facts. She won 1994 Doug Moran National Portrait Prize with a portrait of her father, artist John Mills. Oh, there's no audio. Thanks for nothing, dude. Oh, this takes me to a Facebook video. We don't want to go on Facebook. Okay, this is a news. All right, fuck it, play it.
There's more trouble on the horizon for the Commonwealth Bank, with the Australian corporate
Commonwealth
regulator
Bank?
launching legal action. Network Finance editor Gemma Acton is in our newsroom. Gemma, this was a referral
Gemma.
from the Royal Commission.
Does Australia have a
Yes,
bunch
and
of weird
the corporate
names?
regulator ASIC has found 60 different payments which it says are illegal, with each breach carrying a maximum penalty of $1 million. As a part of the lawsuit, ASIC is also
Okay, I don't think
alleging
this
that a
has
further
anything to do with
390,000 iPhone iPin and the new car key feat Any Contact.
Yay, thanks, Australia. Alright, that didn't work. Anybody know how to say this chick's name? Josiah? It's Josiah? Fucking hell, how you say it? Anybody from Aussie land? I know there's some Aussies out there that gotta know this chick. I know you're dating her. Keeping her in your basement. Wait, did I just click? That's a. God damn it, man. Wait. Where's the sound? Oh. Where's her name? Today was another way. Loved ones. Oceans around the world. Josiah. Alright, fuck it. Josiah. Sorry about that. I was like trying to pick up some Aussie talk. Talk like an Australian. Every vowel is very enunciated. Well, not really, but they really put a lot of effort into their mouth when they say vowels, it seems. Alright, anyways, sorry about that. Oh no, it's Jasonia. What the fuck? It's Jasonia. We'll say Jasonia. You know what? I think everybody would be asleep by this point, hopefully, so. As a tribute to those who lost their lives in such a senseless act of premeditated violence, Sydney artist Jasonia Pilatus was commissioned to paint portraits of those who died in the fire. Jasonia said it was the most technically challenging and emotionally charged portrait I've ever undertaken. Perhaps the artist's greatest challenge was to do the victims' appearance justice, given that all she had were photos of them provided by their families. It was a painstaking process, but Jasonia managed to arrange them in realistic poses while maintaining the precise images from the photos. The background was researched by her to be typical of the Childers area fields where they had worked picking crops. It was a fitting tribute to the poor, unfortunate souls that ended up trapped in the Childers Palace Backpackers Hostel on the night it burned down. A horrifying, avoidable tragedy perpetrated by a callous, evil man who took the lives of 15 innocents in a selfish, childish fit of rage. Sound like Ollie G? Aussies just sound like really drunk Canadians? That's funny. Any Aussies here to fight back? Fighting round the world. Making out with a dingo? A baby ate my dingo? Dude, babies are fucking dangerous, man. Slapped ham? Your cats bring you presents, they could eat them, but they don't. I've also had them, yes, cats go after peeping toms. Well, peeping tom cats. I don't want sad cringe, come on. Sad cringe is like, I think, a defining moment for a YouTuber, honestly. Fighting round the world. I was born and raised here in the UK, but my parents are from Libya. They left in the 1970s, so way before any of the current strife, but every so often we go over... to visit extended family who live in the capital city of Tripoli. Since the fall of Gaddafi and the conflicts between rival militias, they have pretty much destroyed the country. Our visits obviously dropped off to almost nothing, but last year, there was a big family wedding being held in the city, and naturally we got an invite. I was really unsure about going at first. Like, the fighting has died down an awful lot in the past couple of years, but the place is still basically a war zone. But to my surprise, my parents announced that they were fully committed to going. I could stay at home, miss the wedding, and worry about the safety and well-being of my parents, or I could join them and at least be able to keep an eye on them. So I chose the latter. Tripoli is an incredible city. There are Roman ruins, all kind of Italian-style architecture from during the time when Libya was part of the Italian Empire, and the food is absolutely incredible. But the signs of the recent conflict were everywhere. There were bullet holes and shell craters all over the city that still hadn't been repaired yet. Large memorials to people that had died during attacks in years gone by. It was haunting, but for the time being, the city seemed safe. So as weird as it sounds, we just sort of forget about the whole thing. As soon as we were reunited with family and I got to see my distant cousins who I hadn't seen in years, all the anxiety and worry about the trip just seemed to sort of fade into the background. The wedding was fantastic. We all had so much fun, and after the ceremony, we were due to spend a week just hanging around the family and soaking up the atmosphere. Visiting Libya was always a huge part of my youth, and I do feel a huge connection with the country, so I was just happy that there was enough peace in the country to be able to enjoy it for the first time in a while. But one night, as we sit down to another huge dinner with our extended family, I start to hear a few pops from outside the window. I remember hoping with all my heart that they were just fireworks, but the way my cousins reacted told me otherwise. Something was happening in Tripoli, something violent and terrible. All the food that was laid out for us was bundled up and taken down into the basement of the house. I hadn't been down there the entire time I've been staying with them, so I didn't see the veritable bunker that they'd set up. There were bottles of water, all kinds of bedding, everything they might need to survive a night or two should anything commence. What followed was the most terrifying night in my entire life. The booms and cracks of bombs and guns going off above us kept us awake all night. Every minute I just expected a group of armed men to just burst into the basement and drag us out or shoot us. My cousin tried to reassure me that we weren't in much danger of that, but the fear in their voices didn't make it any easier to bear. They were actually used. Per deeping Tom? You finished your test while listening. Nice. Did you do okay? Did you do okay? Just test. Lately, I've been really zoning out while Joel reads during the streams, miss what happens in the stories, and when it's posted the next day, I can watch it like it's almost new. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, sometimes I think obviously the streams are great, but sometimes I worry that, like, not as many people will watch because of, like, well, I heard them last night. So I hope you guys still watch it in its final form. Yeah. Brandy, that's a good point. That would be a chill room to just chill and do chill shit in. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Okay. They were actually used to that sort of thing, as much as a person can be, and they were still terrified. Eventually the noises from upstairs died down, but we were all too terrified to sleep, and after a while, my uncle ventured upstairs to try and get news of what had happened. It turned out that a local militia group who held the city were under attack from rivals that had pushed out years before. Fuck. It turned out that a local militia group that had held the city were under attack from rivals that had... Sorry, I keep reading that wrong. Oh, thank you, Rachel. I appreciate it. It turned out that a local militia group who had held the city were under attack from rivals that they had pushed out years before. It was not some minor skirmish, and it was likely that the violence would start again that night. We had to get out of Tripoli. Our family arranged a minivan taxi that would drive us over the border to Tunisia so that we could catch a flight home from the capital, Tunis. How do you say Tunisia? Tunis. Just dance. I'm gonna be okay.
Tunisia.
What? Tunisia? Is that how you say it? The fuck? The fuck, mate?
Tunisia.
That doesn't seem right at all. Sorry. Keep your distance. You might be next. Wait, where are the comments? Where are the fucking comments? Oh, Jesus Christ. A comment. This is what someone commented. This is not the right way to pronounce it. Sweet, thank you. Thank you for your help, Emma saying, with 500 and... Tunis and Tunisia. Oh, okay. Dun, 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 dun. Can someone get you a McFlurry? I wish they would put more shit in the McFlurry.
Tunisia and Morocco remaining.
Tunisia. I was fucking right, dude. I was right from the beginning. Thank you for the blessings, my loves.
Colonies of France. So
Tunisia. In the great state of Tunisia. Tunis. Our family arranged a minivan taxi that would drive us over the border into Tunisia so that we could catch a flight home from the capital, Tunis. And that's how we left, a whole week early to avoid the fighting. It was horrible having to leave our family behind in a city that was doomed to descend into violence, and at one point my dad actually offered to fly them back to the UK to seek refugee status, but they refused. They were too proud to leave, and it broke my heart that we had to leave them behind. We've not been back to Libya since, but I kept in touch with my cousins as much as I could to make sure that they were all safe, which thank God they were. I had nightmares about that night for months, and I still thank God that we all got out alive. But the fact is that it was just one night for me, but for my cousins, that was their entire life. D, thank you for the $2 as greetings from Texas, longtime fan. Nice. All my exes down in Texas.
Hey, listen.
'Cause that's the place that they are. Alrighty. Let us read the outro. If you guys could think of something. Anonymous Unknown said, follow my IG page even though I'm pretty sure these are all bots. You think every one of these comments are bots? What do you got to say, bots? Are you bots? All my Texas down in Texas. I like to live down there. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit r/Let'sReadOfficial and give and receive feedback from the community and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, I'm a bot. May I lay my eggs in your dog? Sure. Sure, friend. Your mom's a bot. Send me into a programming loop. And remember, don't order sandwiches from the dark web. Well, they probably wouldn't arrive for a while. Due to COVID-19, everything is slow as fuck. Mayonnaise is spice. I feel like I've said that at the end of a video before, have I? But I do like it. I like where your head's at. Because I think I might just do that. Pizza the Hut, you heading out? Peace out. Okay. What is it? Oh, yeah. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, mayonnaise is the spice. I love it, I love it, I love it. We're all bots on Wednesdays. Is that what day it is? Oh, I guess it will be Wednesday. Well, it is Wednesday, isn't it? Shit, dude. Trick-or-treating is illegal. Christmas is canceled this year. It is really funny to think, like, if you're in some sort of like a governor, like, you literally have the power to be the guy who cancels Christmas. All right, everybody, Christmas is fucking canceled. Also, we need to get those hashtags going. Christmas is canceled party. Adding mayonnaise to a food does not make it a salad, no matter what white people tell you. They're goddamn liars. Oh, Ben, I'm sorry to hear that. I like to make you suffer. Yes. Yes. Well, guys, thank you again for being here. Another top-notch stream action. I was actually thinking of, like, if there was things that I could do maybe on incrementally between stories, like, I don't know, like have little segments or something that I hit after each story. Obviously I go on some fucking rants, but I was just thinking, like, maybe even if there's like stuff you guys could vote on that I could talk about, or like maybe you could write like letters or like fan mail or something like that. I could read fan mail, even though like you guys are literally typing all the fan mail that one would expect. But anyways, I don't know. I was just like running some ideas on what would make the stream a little bit more exciting. But I'm glad you guys have a good time. And yeah, so these stories, I'm going to edit them and get them out on Patreon. It's just $1 a month on Patreon if you guys want to go support over there. Get early access to every audio MP3 format that you can download and keep behind your ear like a pencil. Whenever you need it, you can listen to it. And yeah, so that's dope. Go follow me on Twitter at Let's Read Creepy. Go follow me on Instagram at letsread.official. And of course, my amazing meme page with all the Harambe memes you could ever want at Horny Computer. I do have an IG, my dude. It's just it's gonna blur you out if you promote your IG in here, because you know, YouTube automatically detects when people try to self-promote, and that's just not, you know, the best way for self-promotion is to go make some fucking good content. You feel me? You feel me, dog? But anyway, thanks for being here, guys. Video will be out at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join the Discord. I don't know if any mods are still in here to link the Discord, or we can chitty chat. Maybe even play some fucking Among Us at some point if you guys are into that shit. Screen record. I don't know what he's saying. But yes, you know what to do. You know who to be. You're amazing. Thank you for being here. Yeah, 666K subs. Party, baby. Let's do it. But I love you and I appreciate you. And yeah, there'll be another stream on Thursday night, so other than the video that's coming out tonight at 7. So stick around. I'll be here for a little while, you know? I hope. Lord willing. But anyways, have a good evening, my friends.